It is a picture-perfect day in West Central Indiana, and here at Blackstock Stadium on the campus of DePauw in Greencastle, the Tigers get ready to host the unbeaten and 9th-ranked Wabash Little Giants in the 118th renewal of the Monon Bell Classic. And welcome into football action here on HDNet. Kenny Rice with the legendary Paul Maguire. Good to be back with you, my friend.
Oh, it's great to be back with you. You know, I've been looking forward to this game all year long. You know why?
Why?
Because it's the only game I do.
No, not only that, this is a reunion every year. They will pack this place today, doubling the size of this stadium. We'll explain that a little more later on. Wabash, you see, after 117 meetings, they have a 2-game edge. They've won 2 straight. They come in undefeated. That means nothing in this game. The last 3 teams that have come in here undefeated have lost, including, not that long ago when we were here watching a game.
Well, yeah, you know, last year, DePauw, they go to Wabash, and they're 9-0. Wabash is 7-2, but they're 9-0, and everybody thinks they're going to just blow them out. Well, they lose 47-0 to Wabash. Okay, a year later, it's now Wabash comes to town. They are 9-0. I can't even begin to tell you what I think the final score is going to be, because I'm going to tell you something. You talk to these players like we did yesterday, They throw everything away.
Yeah, this is essentially the playoff game for DePauw. We know Wabash goes on in the Division III playoffs. That's what has always been special about this rivalry, Paul. A dozen times teams have come in here undefeated since 1924, and they've won only 3 of those meetings.
Yeah, but people don't even talk about the first 8 or 9 games. They really don't talk about them. They're all concerned about this one football game, and you gotta love it.
To show the contrast of these teams, for Wabash is Chase Belton. He's the veteran. For Will King, he's the newcomer, even though he's a senior, making only his 2nd start for the Tigers.
Well, Will King, the guy on your left, is the quarterback for DePauw, and he's there because everybody else is hurt. I mean, they lost 3 quarterbacks in front of this guy with concussions. But look at his record. He is 1-0. He's got a better record than Belton. Belton, 17 games, he's 16-1. But Belton is a quarterback that can do it all. And for DePauw, I think to even have a chance in this ball game, they've got to get to Belton. They've got to make this guy throw the ball soon.
Well, one guy he'll be throwing to a lot today is Wes Chamblee, and Chamblee does almost everything that you could possibly do on offense for Wabash.
Look at the numbers on Chamblee. Now, 21 yards returning on punts, 30 yards or 31 yards on kickoff returns. He's got 7 touchdown passes, but in those returns, he's got 2 punt returns for touchdowns and a kickoff return for a touchdown. This guy, every time he touches the ball, really has a chance to score.
He continues to move into the record books, moving up there as one of the all-time greats in all-purpose yardage, as is this guy, Taylor Wagner, for DePauw.
Well, you know, isn't it kind of ironic? You got 2 receivers. Now, here's Wagner. He's only caught 1 touchdown pass. But on his punt return and kickoff return, he has a touchdown in each one of those categories. So, again, Kenny, these are 2 guys that once they punt, it's not a sure thing that they're going to get down and tackle these guys. These guys can take it the distance.
This is truly one of the great rivalries in college football, Paul, and I expect this game to be as unpredictable as any.
Yeah, if you talk to the players, seriously, folks, they don't even care about Wabash coming in here 9-0. It means nothing to them because they know what happens every year.
DePauw is playing their best ball right now. They're on a 3-game winning streak coming in to take on unbeaten Wabash. Will the bell stay with the Little Giants as they ring it loud and clear here to the chagrin of the fans at Blackstock Stadium? Or will there be a reversal of fortune and another upset? Stay tuned. Kickoff is next.
Welcome back to the 118th battle for the Monon Bell on HDNet.
And welcome back into Greencastle and Blackstock Stadium. We are just a minute away from the kickoff here. DePauw 4-4, but on a 3-game winning streak, trying to pull the upset over 9-0 and 9th-ranked Wabash in this 118th renewal. And will it be a special day for Will King, making only his 2nd career start, and it's in the biggest game of his career? Kenny Rice and Paul Maguire, glad that you're with us here on HDNet. As you look at the team in the black and gold, the home team, DePauw Tigers, they won the coin toss, elected to receive. One of their former stars working the sideline with us again this year. Glad to have him back. Let's check in right now with Brad Wochomurka. Brad?
All right, hey, Kenny, thanks. I appreciate it. We're here with DePauw head coach Robbie Long. And, Coach, it's been a tough year. You lose 31 seniors. You lose 3 quarterbacks. This is only your 3rd home game, but you've won 3 in a row. You got to feel good.
Feel great. Feel great. This is good as it gets at this level, at any level. And we're looking forward to going out and playing football.
What do we got to see in the first quarter to know that your team's executing on the game plan?
I think the guys are out there playing hard. We're able to move the football. We're able to get in some good 3rd down situations on defense. We're able to control the tempo of the game. That's what we're looking for.
All right, good luck, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, let's head over to the Wabash sideline. Matt Hudson has Wabash coach Eric Rayburn.
Thanks, Brad. Well, Coach, as you well know, 3 of the last 4 years, one of these 2 teams has come into this game undefeated. None of them have left with a bell. What's it going to take to change that trend and get the bell back to Crawfordsville today?
Well, obviously, we're going to have to play our best game this season, take good care of the football, and hopefully continue to play good defense.
All right, good deal. Good luck, Coach, and have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, back to you guys.
All right, Matt, Brad, thank you. Both these guys have a Monon Bell victory on their resume during their outstanding careers here. And, Paul, let's get back right quick to 31 players graduating on this DePauw team. It's amazing to lose that many and still be competitive.
I've talked to a bunch of guys around football. I'll tell you, no one's even heard of this kind of a record. You got to think about it. They lost 31 seniors. That's DePauw last year. 27 of these guys were on the 2-deep roster. And that's amazing. And 18 were starters between the offense and the defense. And yet the record for DePauw right now is 4-4.
Ian McDougall tees it up for Wabash. Nico Sansone standing back along with Damon Megerly. The Wabash crowd making the drive 28 miles down the road to be here. Short liner, bounce, moving up, getting past Sansone. He picks it up at the 10 and will be stopped around the 15. And the bell is underway. As we take a look at Robbie Long and his Tigers, and number 16, Will King, the 6'6", 226-pound senior out of Houston, Texas, making this his 2nd career start. He has carried a lot of clipboards for 3.5 years on this sideline.
Wouldn't you like to see him just take off and just throw a bomb on the first play?
One thing that Coach Long tells us, he has a tremendous arm. And he comes out firing and gets his first completion, first pass. It is to Bobby Coburn, the junior tight end out of Lake Bluff, Illinois, a pickup of 4. As we look at the front line of Lampling, a converted tight end, Brown, an All-American, Turnbow, Neese, and Van. In the backfield, Coburn just making the catch. Stewart, a freshman, has had a tremendous year, as has Hickman, another youngster. Lauderdale in mostly for blocking. And it's John Ellis starting in the backfield, a senior who has missed 5 games this year because of a groin injury, but he would not miss the bell. And we are going to have our first penalty of the game. Too much time, a delay against DePauw on the 2nd snap they were waiting for from this quarterback.
You know, you just kind of think of the anticipation of this game, and what you need to do, Kenny, is come up to the line and go in a hurry on a quick count.
Zenmaster, 5 sacks. Bruckman, Clegg, Diaz, Aguilar. Akin Rabade is one of the great players already. Gum anchors it, and Burris, another one of those talented freshmen. And on 2nd down, throwing, incomplete, aiming for Hickam. Jordan Hickam, who is from right here in Greencastle, a sophomore that transferred in from IUPUI, and that was just too much.
Oh, he had Hickam open, too. Hickam was down. Najar was beaten. It was the corner, number 16. But Hickam was just wide open, and the ball was thrown out of bounds over his head.
And in that secondary at the corners for Wabash, 2 great young players, the brothers Hodges. They lead the team in interceptions. And this brings up a 3rd and 12 for King. Swings it out in the backfield, gets his completion, but comes up way short of the first down, hitting the fullback, Ben Lauderdale.
And that was an outstanding tackle by Najar, who came over as the corner and just really saved the first down. Just good open field tackling.
So Eric Malm comes in, a 6-foot sophomore from McCordsville, Indiana, averaging 36 yards a punt, and will kick it away. And standing back is the dangerous Wes Chamblee. He's already returned 1 this year. Nice punt. He waves it off, takes the fair catch at the 47, a 37-yard punt into the wind by Malm. And it will be good field position for Wabash in their first series.
I said in the opening, Kenny, one of the things that I think DePauw has to do, and I mean that, they've got to go in and get number 13, Belton. They've got to make him throw the ball quickly. He has too many good receivers on the outside, including a very, very good tight end.
There's a junior from Dayton, Ohio's only lost 1 time when he has started. He keeps the ball himself, crosses into Tiger territory, and gets it down to about the 47, a pickup of 6. Belton is one of the top rushers. He's second on the team in average and leads the team with 8 touchdown rushes this year. So in addition, he throws it, he runs with it. He has been certainly their star player.
And I'm going to tell you something, he plays bigger than he is. He's 5'7" and 170 pounds. He does play bigger.
Fakes the handoff, keeps it again, and he is smacked at the line of scrimmage. It was Zach Price, and Brandstatter gets up to make the hit. Brandstatter, who leads this team in tackles. We look across the way now at the Wabash Little Giants. Kitley is an All-American. Burkett, Elliott, Ruddy, and Schaefer, all strong seasons this year. We've talked about Belton. He has great receivers in Horn, who leads the team in receiving. Chamblee has 7 touchdown catches. They will use Bell and Holm at tight end, sometimes at the same time. And Hunt has been solid in the backfield, although they do not use him as much in the running game. Coming in now is James Krause, number 4, going in motion. He is the 4th receiver in there, and Chamblee will follow him in motion, and such is the offense for Wabash. Belton's keeping inside the 40, cuts down, gets down near the 30, picks up the first down before being forced out of bounds by Matt Johnson. A pickup of 12 and a first down for the Little Giants.
Kenny, what's happening is DePauw, they're playing a lot of zone defense, and what they're doing is they're backing up because of Horn and Chamblee and Holmes and Hildebrand. These guys, if you take a look at them, look how deep the secondary is. So as soon as Belton sees the opening, he's already got 6 or 7 yards before he even faces the linebackers.
1st and 10 at the 31. Belton will keep it. And Matt Johnson, the middle linebacker, the senior out of St. Charles, Illinois, brings him down. Across the front is Michael Fultz, leads the team in tackles for loss. Wilkerson, Keller has 4 sacks, and Zach Price. Robinson, Johnson, Dwanger, and then Valdesari, the veteran. Brandstatter leads the team in tackles. Again, it's Belton. Belton inside the 10 before being brought down.
I would take a timeout. And the reason I'm saying that, I would take a timeout, bring my defense to the sidelines, and just say, hey, look it, we're going to put a spy on Belton. We're going to put our middle linebacker, which will probably be Matt Johnson, on Belton. Every time he fakes to someone, I want you to hit Belton. Nobody is touching Belton until he gets way downfield in the secondary.
Belton is doing it with his feet right now.
We're going to wear him out, Kenny. He's every time he touches the ball.
It's been all Belton, 5 rushes for 43 yards in this series. And finally a mistake, penalty against the Little Giants. They'll mark off 5 to bring up a 1st and goal back at about the 15.
You know, I just like what Belton's doing. Belton, I mean, I could tell you, we talked to the coach the other day about this here, and he said, Rayburn, the head coach of Wabash, he said, you know, we'd like to run the ball, but he wasn't counting on Belton running the ball. He was thinking about Hunt and Holmes and these guys.
Belton hands off to Hunt, goes right up the middle, swarmed on and brought down. Brandstatter coming up from the strong safety, leading the way.
What I was going to say about Belton is I really like the way this guy is reading the defense. I mean, he's there. He sees that all he has to do is make the fake. Once he makes the fake, the initial defensive guy in front of him goes to the fake guy. So he just keeps the ball and runs up the middle. He's got 7 yards before he's touched.
Eric Rayburn trying for his 3rd straight win in this Monon Bell Classic, 2-1 overall coming in. It is 2nd and goal at the 13. Belton looking to throw, and he's brought down by Patrick Keller, his 5th sack of the year, the team leader in that department, the junior out of Ackworth, Georgia.
DePauw and Wabash both came in with 25 sacks against them, okay, with them. And just take a look at Belton. He just holds on to the ball way too long. This is on the quarterback. It is not on the offensive line. They can only hold these guys out so long. He's got to get rid of the ball. Now you had 2nd down and, 10 or 12. He's got to get rid of the ball. You cannot put your offense in this kind of a position.
They've gone from 1st and goal just inside the 10, 1st and goal back to the 15. Belton, good protection this time. Now being flushed out, pressure on, throwing it deep and over the head of everyone as finally Keller was able to get in there, but great coverage by the secondary of DePauw.
Well, you know, you saw that time with Belton that he scrambles to the outside. And when we talked to Coach Rayburn the other day, he just said, hey, look, the sacks come on the quarterback because they do things like this. They really believe that they can use their feet. But once you get outside, nobody's open. At least Belton did the right thing. He threw the ball out of the end zone.
32-yard field goal attempt now for Ian McDougall, the sophomore from Westfield, Indiana. He's 3 for 7 on the year, his long being 41. Kick is up, and it's good. Great drive by Wabash, but they only get a field goal out of the deal. Little Giants lead it 3-0 on their opening drive.
On the surface, 2 areas of study cannot seem farther apart than art and science. But at DePauw, an art teacher and science professor have taken on the challenge to integrate the two as a part of the liberal arts experience.
What we're doing is making really large-scale structures of one particular protein as it folds from completely unfolded to this final structure.
I work on a monumental large scale, but Dan's work is on a scale you can't even see with visible wavelengths of light. So we're basically trying to represent something that you can't ever see.
I don't know of any other school that lets you be a bio-Spanish major and learn how to weld randomly and help out with a project.
That's liberal arts at a small school, right? I mean, we're providing an example of connections between disciplines that you ordinarily wouldn't think would interact.
Got a bad, what's he got, a knee?
And back here, Little Giants up first, 3-0 over DePauw. A 9-play, 38-yard drive. Took 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Ended with a 32-yard field goal by Ian McDougall.
And that whole drive was all Belton, the quarterback. Chase Belton, number 13. Picked up close to 50 yards on that drive himself. Running the ball, not throwing the ball.
They were stopped with a penalty and then a big tackle for loss, and had to wind up settling for the field goal. Perhaps some kind of momentum boost for DePauw, back on their heels until the last couple of plays on defense. As Nico Sansone, the sophomore from St. Louis, stands back awaiting the kick. Remember the last one was a line drive bouncer. Kicks this one away. Nice kick. Had the wind behind him and took advantage of it and puts it through the end zone. And so DePauw will start this drive at their own 20. Second timeout for Will King. We talked about him coming into this game, Paul. He played some junior varsity here at DePauw. He's been here all 4 years. He told us he had no intention of trying to be a receiver, tight end, any other position. Wanted to be a quarterback, and really has one of the best attitudes of any backup quarterback in the history of this game. Very happy guy.
Don't you like who he backed up in high school?
Yeah, he's a pretty good player. He's doing well in Stanford right now.
Andrew Gluck, he backed him up in high school.
He said he backed up Luck. He's used to it. Let's see what he does on this series. His second one. John Ellis in the backfield and will get the handoff. And maybe gets a yard on the play.
Okay, let's just stay with King for just a minute. This guy's 6'6". Now you got to remember, he's been sitting on that bench. He's seen everything. He knows how to read defense, and that's one of the first things I said to him. I said, Will, what about defenses when you get up to the line of scrimmage? He says, I have no problem. I carried the cards for a long time, man. I know what they're going to be doing on defense. I just would like to see him throw the ball more, a little bit more downfield. He's got the arm for it.
Has two receivers coming out to the right. Colburn, the tight end, moving out as a wide receiver along with Hickam. He's looking to Colburn, hits him for the second time, picks up about 4 to the 25-yard line. Houston Hodges there to make the tackle, the 5'7" freshman out of Plymouth. He and his brother, the two corners on this Wabash team.
Well, Colburn came into this game catching the ball 15 times, and this is his second catch of the day. He's a pretty good-sized target. He's 6'4", 235. As big as most of the linemen. But, you know, the thing about it is he can get up in the air and he can catch the football. He's got outstanding hands. And if they're going to put a linebacker on him, you might as well just keep right on going to him.
3rd and 5. King screen. It was deflected, intended for John Ellis, but touched at the line, and it brings up a 4th down.
Hard to believe that a quarterback 6'6" gets a ball tipped. Gets a kind of tipped that is only 5'9". But you know, the thing about it is that you've got to get some kind of momentum. If it's a couple of run plays, which they really haven't tried to do much. They had one in the first series and one in this series. If they're going to continue to throw the ball, then start working downfield. At least loosen the defense up.
Malm, who had a 37-yarder, kicks again. Chamblee is waiting, pressure on, gets off a low liner, pretty nice kick. And it's going to take a bounce in favor of the Tigers before being downed at around the 37-yard line. 3-0. Wabash with the lead and the ball when we come back.
Over the past several years, Wabash College has invested just over $6 million in its athletic facilities, and just this year rose to 4th in the Princeton Review's ranking for the nation's best athletic facilities.
We're one of only 3 schools in the country that's all male. A lot of activity, a lot of physical activity, not only intercollegiate sports, but really a fine intramural program, 3 club sports. So there's a lot of things going on. These opportunities for a college of 900 young men to have the quality and just the care of the facility as well is really something special. Our football stadium seats about 5,000. Wabash Ballpark seats a little over 200 individual red chair back seats. Here at Mud Hollow Stadium, we've got a couple of hundred individual chair seats, so one of which I'm sitting in. Sightlines are great. All of this has enhanced the experience for student athletes, but also for the spectators who come and watch them play.
3-0 Little Giants lead it. DePauw having to kick it away for the second time after their second drive stalls here, and it will be Chase Belton on the attack once again. Belton already with 40 yards rushing, 0 for 1 in passing as you look at Eric Rayburn, now in his 4th season, once again guiding Wabash to the Division III playoffs next week. And Tyler Holmes comes in the lineup now. He is the running back in place of Van Hunt at the moment. 1st and 10 starting from the 36. And a flag, and it's going to be procedure once again against Wabash.
I'll tell you don't think that drives a coach nuts. You just come off the sidelines, a punt return, there's a timeout.
That says it, doesn't it?
Oh, look at that. What? You come off the sidelines, you know what the play is called, you know what you're supposed to be doing, and these guys screw it up. They run it all over the place.
They get the signals from the sideline. You'll see them, not the offensive linemen, as we were talking with Weston Kitley about that. Says we just have to look and kind of get our own reads. It's up to the quarterback and the receivers to see what plays are called from the sideline. It's 1st and 15. This drive starting at the 29 now after that penalty. Belton swings it out and over the head, intended for Chamblee. Had good pressure on him that time, and it was by Michael Fultz. We had a great conversation with him yesterday, Paul, the big defensive end, the senior out of Carmel, Indiana.
Michael Fultz, number 93. You watch this guy, I tell you what, all he does is stare at you. And so we said to him, you know, some of these guys that are on Wabash, you went to school with and you played against. I said, after the game, you kind of walk over and shake hands. He said, not on your life. I don't shake hands.
One of those guys he played high school with, Jonathan Horn, is one of the top receivers for Wabash. Like he said, that's the intensity in this rivalry. It is second down. Up the middle. They pick up a little bit that time with Tyler Holmes, the 6'1", 212-pound sophomore from Bluffton, Indiana, carrying it. And bringing him down is J.D. Robinson, the linebacker, a pickup of 6.
Now watch Fultz again. Now remember I said someone has to get the quarterback? Look at Fultz. He doesn't even go to the ball. His job is on the outside. So you're not, again, when you're looking at Belton, you're not coming back that way anymore because they already told Feltz, you stay outside, you make the play on the quarterback.
Third down and 9 at the 38. Belton under pressure and going down. Graham Wilkerson comes in, the 6', 202-pound senior out of Indianapolis, to record his 3rd sack of this season. 3.5 sacks actually on the year for him, and great play by Wilkerson.
I told you in the opening, in order for DePauw to stay in this ball game, they've got to go after Belton. And that time they did. They went the time before. All 3 of those plays, the defensive lineman had heat on the quarterback.
Cameron Sobleski, sophomore out of Noblesville, will kick it away. Standing back, the dangerous Taylor Wagner. Wagner shakes a tackle at the 30. To about the 32 that time. Wagner, who has brought back a punt this year for a touchdown, gets a 3-yard return after that 43-yard kick by Sobleski. And this is the 3rd series now for Will King.
All right, big man. Will King, number 16. Go deep.
Number 25, Armani Cato, a 5'5", 170-pound sophomore from Fayetteville, Georgia, comes in as tailback now, replacing Ellis. Drive starting at the 30. Cato gets about 3 going over the right side. Let's check in with Brad on the DePauw sideline.
Hey, Kenny, thanks. The wind down here is certainly a factor. DePauw going into it right now, but their offensive coaches have told Will King, look, we see some things that Wabash defense is doing. We think you can get to the second level. You guys have mentioned it. He has a big arm. They may wait till the second half or the second quarter when the field flips, or they may look to go deep here pretty soon. Back up to you guys.
All right, thanks, Brad. Numbers so far, 3 for 5 for King. 2nd and 8 at the 33. Play fake, throwing over the middle, complete to Coburn. First down into Wabash territory. Nice throw.
All you got to do is loosen him up. This kid has got an awful lot of confidence. He waited a long time for this shot. I said to him yesterday, I said, are you going to be anxious? He said, no. He said, I know what I have to do. I waited a long time. I was never impatient, and it's just an outstanding throw. You take a look at Coburn. He is a big target for him. He's 6'4", and he can go up in the air and get the ball. These are small defensive backs, 5'10", 6 foot, 5'10", 5'8".
18-yard pass makes it 1st and 10 at the 49 of Wabash. On the ground to Cato. Spins for maybe a couple of yards. Armani Cato averaging 3.2 yards a carry, the leading rusher this season for DePauw.
Well, I'd say I just like what King is doing with the ball. He's making sure, he almost bobbled the ball once in the first series of downs, but he's making sure the first thing, get the ball and then put it in a place where the offensive back can get it.
Get a yard on that. It's 2nd and 9 at the 48 of Wabash.
You got trips over here to the right.
They're loading up the right side for King.
Oh, no.
King wisely just trying to fall on it. Still loose, still loose. And in the scrum, we'll wait to see if they umpile it. It's Wabash's ball. See who comes up with that.
You know, actually, when you're going for the ball, King is thinking about, watch this, he's thinking about maybe I'll go pick it up. But you really don't have time. And you've got to fall on the ball, and what you have to do is block the defender from getting to the ball. He blocked the defender, but he never reached for the ball.
Luke Zinsmaster, the 6'2 senior out of Logansport, Indiana, who is one of the sack leaders on this team, recovers that fumble. Big turnover here. After a lot of momentum going DePauw's way, now it goes right back to Wabash. And on the ground is Van Hunt. No running room there. Mitch Dwenger, the sophomore linebacker from Columbus, Indiana, in on the hit.
I got to tell you, ever since I said, you know, someone's got to take care of the quarterback, well, Phelps is his job now is to go in the backfield and hit the quarterback. And I'm telling you, Belton's ducking. He's not holding on to the ball anymore. He's giving the ball off because number 93, Michael Phelps, is there every single time now.
2nd and 10 at the 33. On the ground to Hunt, right up the middle, to the 20. He's outside, he's gone. Touchdown, Wabash, Van Hunt. The 4th touchdown of the season for the junior from Phoenix, Arizona.
Look at the blocking right in the middle of the field. Elliott the center, Burkett and Rudy, these are the guards. And honest, he wasn't even touched. Van Hunt just ran through the entire defense, made a super cut about 6 yards in the defense and was gone.
33-yard touchdown run. McDougal to try to tack on the extra point. And he does. And like that, DePauw, with a great drive going, makes a turnover. And 2 plays later, Wabash turns it into 7.
Just take a look at this cut. Right here, he makes the cut back to the outside. And once he does that, he's got blockers downfield and nobody to stop him. You can't make mistakes, Kenny. I mean, your team has struggled all year long. Again, it's true. What you said before, they lost 31 seniors from last year. 17 guys were starters. 27 guys were on a 2-deep roster list. And then still come out and win 4 games. But they had to struggle. And I'm saying DePauw had to struggle in those games. You cannot afford to make any mistakes at all.
And that's the big play quickness. We talked a lot about Chamblee, obviously, and deservingly so in the open. But with Hunt, a guy we haven't heard about right now, Jonathan Horn, yet. He's been rather quiet. They have 2 or 3 guys that can make the big plays for them that have that kind of quickness.
Well, and on the other hand, too, DePauw, they've only really gone to one guy, and that's Colburn, the tight end, Bobby Colburn. They've got outstanding receivers on the outside. He's got to start using him.
Sansone standing back, awaiting the McDougal kick. It goes to Megerly. Damon Megerly has it. Flag is thrown. Megerly up to the 20 and across that. We'll check on the flag.
There's a clip.
A penalty marker on the play.
Or hitting in the back on this play. And, you know, if you're going to do that, you'd usually try to do it in the crowd. Don't way out in the wide open spaces, man.
Derek McQuiston, the backup linebacker out of Loganport, Indiana, making that tackle on Megerly. And one thing, in addition to everything else, we'll see the penalty officially.
Block in the back, number 28, the return team. Penalty is declined. Block in the back, number 40.
There are 2 penalties on the play, team. Both block in the back.
Penalty. First down.
The penalties on Ben King, number 40. It's a block in the back. Get out.
And it's going to mean this drive is going to start around the 11. Let's see if we can pick it up here.
There's
right
actually
there.
2 of them, 2 blocks, but
that
you
was
see
the
to the
first.
right, number 43 in the white, who's on the ground or getting up. That was the first block. That was the block in the back by King.
Will King goes to work. Pass is incomplete. Flipping it out for Cato.
Cato, you know, you got to catch the ball first, son. And you got to, watch this. He's not even looking. You're getting your quarterback hammered. They get the ball out to you, and then what happens is Cato doesn't look at the ball. He puts his hands up, and the ball just pops out.
Jorge Diaz-Aguilar out of that right end position, putting the pressure on. There you look at number 33, C.J. Gum. Gum is in his own world, isn't he? 6 foot, 231-pound senior linebacker that leads this defense. Incomplete. Intended for Kevin Udi, the 6'4" sophomore coming in for the first time at tight end.
Well, I'll tell you what, Austin Hodges, one of the brothers, he's the older brother, number 2. He's not even looking at the ball. If he were looking at the ball, he would have had himself an interception and a touchdown.
So again, third down. They are 0 for 2 on third down conversions. It is 3rd and 10 at their own 11. Sets up, pressure, throwing over the middle, and it's intercepted. Coop with the interception. Coop to the house for the touchdown. Jonathan Coop, the 5'10" junior from Fontana, California, gets the interception and takes it in.
That's Coop's second interception of the year. Now, let me tell you what they did. They really baited King. When you see this from the beginning, what happened was that the safeties went to the outside, and it looked like the middle was wide open. So King figures, I'll get a crossing pattern about a 15-yarder right in the middle of the field, but they didn't watch Coop, who steps back in as the safety and made the interception.
Flag before the snap.
Preliminary signal, illegal procedure against the little.
Two mistakes they've made is a legal procedure 3 different times. They haven't made any.
Coop taking that interception back 22 yards. As Paul said, his second interception of the season. First time he's taken one in this year for the touchdown. So basically this becomes now field goal range here for McDougal. But he puts it right through. 2 turnovers, 2 touchdowns. Wabash opening it up 17-0 over DePauw with 2:24 still to play here in the first quarter. Let's check in with Matt.
Thanks, Kenny. You know, in talking to the players and coaches this week, during Bell Week, they're all so tense. They don't want to give away a whole lot. They don't have a whole lot to say, honestly. So when I wanted to go to people with real opinions, I went out to the tailgate area this morning to ask them about the keys to the game. Almost every single person I talked to said the biggest key was to get out to an early lead. DePauw has a relatively inexperienced team, relatively inexperienced quarterback. It's going to be awful tough for them to come back from 17-0 already against this defense, guys.
You have to wonder now, as Robbie Long was talking yesterday, the whole scenario, it's always about turnovers and field position, isn't it, Paul? I mean, from Pee Wee football all the way to the NFL, and we're seeing it right here in this first quarter.
It's Bart Levy of the Buffalo Bills used to say it's give away, keep away. You know, those are the things that really help your football team. But you take a look at DePauw, and every series of downs that they had, Kenny, they ran one play, it didn't work, and they went right directly to the pass. They're going to have to establish some type of running play, because what's happening is now is Wabash is just sitting back and waiting for them to throw the football.
Again, with the wind behind him, McDougal puts it into the end zone. By the way, Taylor Wagner, we talked about him, the all-purpose guy that he is for DePauw, but he has been slowed by injury. That's why he's not back even attempting to return kicks at the moment. They've been going with Sansone and Megerle.
And he is one of their, their game breaker guys. This is a relatively young football team, inexperienced football team, and especially when you're down to Will King, who's your fourth quarterback, a senior.
And on the ground, they try to get something going against a defense that was stingy this year, only giving up 67 yards rushing a game. Pat Clegg leading the way to make that tackle.
It's Clegg and Gum again. You know, if you're going to run against these guys, I mean, when you talk to Wabash and the coaching staff, this is the fastest team they've had in a long time on defense. You've got to try to get the ball to the outside.
2nd and 8 at the 22. Handoff, Cato bounces off one tackle, but Gum is there to bring him down. Burrish made the first hit, and then C.J. Gum comes in, as he has for 4 years, to finish off the deal.
Watch here. Gum is 33. He's going to make the play. You're right. Burrish, number 39, is the guy that makes the hit. But Gum is one of those guys that, he believes that I don't care how hard I hit a guy. The most important thing about tackling on defense is making sure that I put him on the ground. I don't care how I do it. I'm going to put him on the ground.
C.J. Gum already with 5 tackles. That from the man that leads this team in tackles, is one of the best linebackers in all of Division III. Another 3rd down. Throwing incomplete. That was intended for Stewart. Najar in on the coverage. And it's 4th down, and once again, Malm will have to kick it away, and we would assume with the wind blowing in his direction, it should be good field position for Wabash. 2 punts, he's averaged 36 yards. He's made a couple of good punts into this wind. It's about an 8 or 9 mile an hour wind blowing right in his face at this moment as Chamblee stands back. Short Chamblee on the run to the 30, 20. One man to beat the punter, he's gone. Wes Chamblee. Once again, a kick return for the touchdown 3 times this year.
Well, you know, DePauw didn't have a chance. First of all, this was a short kick, and everybody, here comes Chamblee. Now watch, they just run by him. So once he's got a full head of steam as soon as he catches the ball, there was nobody really there to touch him. He timed that thing perfectly.
Chamblee, a 44-yard return. And McDougal puts it through, and this game is getting out of reach. 24-0. Two turnovers, and then the 44-yard punt return by Wes Chamblee. His 8th touchdown overall, 10th touchdown. 11 now he's up to, isn't he, Paul?
11. Watch this, Kenny. He's on a dead run. You just take a look at these guys. They've all gone by him. Nobody really has a shot at him. That's just heads-up return. That is his 3rd punt return for a touchdown this year, and he has a kickoff return for a touchdown.
And he has 7 touchdown receptions. Just to throw all that into the mix, the 5'11 senior out of South Bend, Indiana, who is having his best year here in this, his final go-around with the Wabash Little Giants, who he's already moved up into the top 5 all-purpose yardage in his career, already in the top 12 among career scorers in his career, and now he's added to it here today.
A very humble young man, I'll tell you. Really a nice guy to talk to.
So again, Sansone and Magerle stand back. Kick is shorter this time. Magerle takes it at the 2. Across the 20, 30, flag back around the 25. He gets it across the 45 and near midfield. About a 48-yard return for Magerle, but hold everything. There's a flag back around the 19-yard line.
Boy, I'll tell you, at the end of that play at about the 45-yard line, do I see a flag? Yes, I do. There had to be a flag. You talk about a late hit by DePauw. I mean, I know you're angry, but you just don't do something stupid because you're losing. You really have to keep your wits about you. You just can't be going crazy. All right, you got a team that's young.
Back in the back during the return. That penalty is declined.
took the holding penalty, but at the end of this, there was also a late hit. Watch here, number 57. Did you see this?
Yeah.
I mean, hits him in the back. That's just uncalled for. And there's the flag there. That's what the flag was for.
So the holding will bring the ball back. That's the penalty accepted. Back to around the 20. 24 points, the most scored in the first quarter of a Monon Bell game. Paul, how about that? After 118 of those.
Well, and there's going to be a lot more scored.
Yeah, maybe in this quarter. There's still 30 seconds to go. Ellis tripped up by Clegg.
All right, young lady, don't wear your arm out because it looks like you're going to be taking the bell back.
You know, they do have friends. It's an all-male school, about 900 males that go to Wabash, but they do have friends.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
Final seconds of this quarter ticking off. 2 turnovers and a big punt return. The difference, the big difference for Wabash. Little Giants trying to stay unbeaten, up 24-0 after 1. It's been a beautiful day in terms of weather here, about 55 degrees and a light breeze in Greencastle, Indiana, the home of the DePauw Tigers, but the score sums it up there, 24-0, unbeaten and 9th-ranked Wabash trying for their 3rd straight win in this historic Monon Bell series.
You know, and I was sitting there talking in the break, and one big change is when Will King, the quarterback, fumbled a snap.
Handoff to John Ellis. No running room there. Coming in was Ken Rabate and Diaz Aguilar. Ken Rabate, by the way, number 44, had narrowed it down to 2 schools. It was either going to be Wabash or DePauw, as Robbie Long lamented to us yesterday. As you look at Ken Rabate, a freshman out of Indianapolis, that he says, the opposing coach says, is going to be one of the all-time greats before he finishes up for the Little Giants.
And he's a freshman, and that was DePauw's #1 pick, the guy they wanted, and couldn't get him.
It's 3rd and 13. King to the air, has his completion over the middle to Brody Shane, making his first catch as he crosses over, and Gum again, number 33, is right there. And you're really impressed, I know, Paul, with the way C.J. Gum plays and the size that he has. Maybe you think down the road to a possible shot at getting a tryout.
I think so. You know, he's only 6 foot, but I'll tell you, watch this guy stick people. He reads the ball. He knows exactly where the ball's going. The guy is very smart. And the one thing about him is he doesn't lose tacklers.
High snap.
He hits people.
Malm gets it. Wind behind him and drops a nice kick in there. It's going to bounce and actually go back into DePauw territory around the 49. 30-yard punt, kind of got held up there a little bit. And you look there at Malm, who's upset. He made a nice play on this. Wow, what else could have gone wrong if that had been over his head?
2 points.
2 points. No, worse, it stays in the end zone. He's recovered.
And they recovered at 6 points, 7. But, you know.
But like you say, Paul, it was the 3rd series of the drive, 3rd series of the day for DePauw. They had it out toward midfield. They were only down 3-0 at that time, and then that snap, and that turned the whole game.
You just try to keep them off the board, which they did. They only allowed 3 points. Then they give the ball right back.
Belton to Chambly. Turns the corner, gets good yardage.
And a flag.
And a flag is thrown. Johnson makes the tackle.
Hey, don't you believe, I've been watching a lot of games in all these years, but don't you believe that the officials really enjoy the help from the players?
Yeah.
To tell you that the flag is against the other team?
So many of them do. They tell us, don't they?
Just say to the official, it's on them. We want to help you out.
Look at referee Mick Hayes and his crew.
Oh, personal foul. Chop block.
Number 19 of the offense.
That's going against Jonathan Horn.
Jonathan Horn is 6'3", 195 pounds. He's as big as two of the defensive linemen on DePauw. All right, Horn, he went to the knees.
To J.D. Robinson, the freshman linebacker.
And that is illegal.
So that moves it back to the 42 and makes it first down and 20. There's a look at Horn. He leads the team in catches this year, 43 coming into this game. They've yet to throw to him.
He's a great target. I mean, the guy is 6'3", 195, man, I would say 200 pounds, and he is an outstanding target.
And they'll ram it right up the middle and get to midfield. That's Tyler Holmes, the sophomore, with the carry for 8 yards.
What's discouraging is that you get a 10-yard penalty against DePauw. All right, now you got the ball's 1st and 20. Then you just run a straight up the field running play to Tyler Holmes, number 25, just straight at you, and you pick the 10 up right back. I mean, that is what is demoralizing for DePauw. They've got to get some help from these defensive linemen.
Horn comes out wide to the right on 2nd and 11, just shy of midfield. Belton play fake, flag is thrown, throwing over the middle and complete. Inside the 25 to Chambly, but this may be all coming back.
It's holding, and let's see. Now you got Feltz for DePauw. He's helping the officials. He called it. And I know the officials walk up and said, you know, thank you very much. We are so happy that you help us.
In your illustrious career, did you ever help an official?
In my illustrious career, I was trying to take a deep breath. I didn't have time.
Well, this brings it back to the 39. That hold on Daniel.
Yes, sir. Chris Daniel, number 71.
The Wabash 5 penalties, totaling 40 yards so far. And a timeout taken by the Little Giants. 11:59 to go in the first half. Wabash leads it 24-0.
Pass back, the boot is up. It's good, it's good, it's good, fans, it's good, it's good, it's good, and that ends the game, and DePauw wins. Yes, fans, we did it. Freddie, we have won that ball game for us. With that field goal, we won the ball game. Final score, fans, 23 for DePauw and 20 for Wabash.
Ding.
Well, the bell rings for about a 48-hour period or so leading up to this game. It's over on the opposite side from us where all the red and white. And that is the Monon bell that used to be on the locomotive of the Monon Railroad that traveled from Chicago, linking the Midwest to the south and passed through the towns of Crawfordsville and Greencastle along the way where these respective schools are. The old steam locomotive. Remember, Paul, we used to travel in that covering the United Football League.
That was right after I was on the covered wagon.
That's it. Here we go, 2nd and 20. Belton under pressure. The pass is incomplete. Bradstatter making a great play. Ben Bradstatter, the man who leads the team in tackles, right there with Jonathan Horn.
Boy, Bradstatter, I'll tell you want to talk about perfect timing. Number 24 is the guy that's going to make the play. Watch him time this. Ball's there, hands there. That is just absolutely perfect defense.
Bradstatter, the 5'10", 190-pound senior out of Niles, Michigan, who has been an anchor and one of the real veteran players and one of the guys who remember winning the Monon Bell. These seniors won it as a freshman. They've seen the last two go over to the team in the red and white. On 3rd and 20, Belton throwing over the head of the intended receiver, Brady Young.
They're going to punt.
They had to wake up the punter and tell him to get on the field. Cameron Sobleski will come on to punt, and now for the first time we're seeing Taylor Wagner is going to be in there to return it. He is 4th all-time in career punt returns. He's brought one back this year for a touchdown.
It's a bad kick here.
He's going to back off that and let it roll down around the 26.
All right, now you really got to put something together here, and obviously you cannot run against this team. One of the reasons the four down linemen are doing a great job, and they've got outstanding linebackers.
34-yard punt. They'll begin this drive at their 26. Let's check in with Brad.
Last time this offense came off the field, it seemed to be communication problems. King talking with his coaches. It seems that the senior may not have all the plays down that the coaching staff put in this week, but they made some tweaks. They felt pretty confident about sending him back out there this possession.
Ellis gets the carry, goes straight up the middle, picks up about 5. John Ellis taken down by Ken Rabadade, and it is Ellis who comes into this. He told us yesterday, I'm playing in it. It's a Monon Bell game. I missed 5 games this year. They haven't played that many. They only played 8. He's missed 5. He is 10th all-time in career rushing and is just a tough kid. He wanted to close it out playing in the Bell game.
5'8", 205, and I'll tell you, he's built like a rock.
Handoff to him, hitting the backfield, tries to pick up some positive yards. Won't be done this time.
It's very difficult to run the football when the quarterback hands it to you and then 3 white shirts nail you in the backfield. These guys on the front line are not blocking very well. And you got to remember that the front line, there are 3 brand new players up there. There are 2 seniors, and the rest of them, there are two juniors and a freshman.
DePauw is yet to convert on 3rd down, 3rd and 9 from their 26. Audible for King. Under pressure, throwing over the head, intended for Sansone.
And that time, Wabash had a blitz on. They sent 5 guys. They figured they're going to make King throw the ball faster. Just take a look at King. Here's the ball in his hands. Now look at the white shirts. They're there. He had to throw the ball. It's just the ball seems to be getting away from him. He's 6'6", and instead of the ball coming down out of his hand, it's going up. Well, you got receivers on the outside that are 5'9". You got to put the ball in their hands.
Malm is kicking now for the 5th time today. Chambly standing back. The last time he returned it 44 yards for a touchdown. Takes this at the 30. Looking for room at the 40. Still spinning around. Goes down around the 39. Wes Chambly always makes it interesting. 24-0. Wabash.
It is 1st and goal at the half-yard line. This will be the last play. There's only 4 seconds to go. They're facing the #1 defense in the nation against the run this year. They need less than a yard to tie this game. Hoffman going to roll to his right. He throws for Harmon and broken out. 1 second on the clock. No, it's not. And that ends the game just like that, Steve.
Those were the days, Paul.
Oh, boy.
One of the Tigers' victories in this series. Wabash leading this game 24-0. The Little Giants coming in here 9-0, ranked 9th in the country. On their way, they'll find out tomorrow night around 6 o'clock Eastern time who they will be playing and where they'll be playing. In all likelihood, they would host a first-round game, especially if they complete this season at 10-0, the regular season. And Eric Rayburn is doing just a great job once again. His team this year, they trailed only 3 times all season long as they start this drive with Belton keeping it. And Belton getting positive yards once again before Michael Fultz brings him down. And a flag on the play.
It's about the 4th late flag we've seen.
And we'll see what the ref has to say.
What'd he say?
No flag on that. Wave that play off. Wave the flag off. Play stands. Rayburn wants an explanation. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want an explanation.
You should give an explanation if you're going to throw a flag. There's got to be a reason why you threw it. Oh, now we got whistles. Throw the whistle.
They're making sure they have second down over there. It was first down. It is second down and 7. Okay. The ball out to the 43.
Well, you got to fix the clock. Got to start the clock back up because that was a running play. Right, there you go.
You would think here at DePauw they'd want that clock to start. Hunt, who already has a touchdown, across the 45 up to around the 47. Keller comes in to make the hit. I'd like to say hi to Tom Mont, coach here from 1959-1976 at DePauw, Maryland grad, who's back home watching today. Hi from all the DePauw folks. They said be sure to say hi to Coach Mont for us. And it's Hunt on the ground again, picking up the first down, crossing the midfield stripe and getting it down into Tiger territory before Brandstatter brought him down.
Brandstatter is their #1 tackler. He came into this game with 71 tackles. And I asked the coach, Robbie Long, yesterday, I said, Coach, you've got a strong safety is the #1 tackler on his team. He said, our defense is designed for him to make the tackles. But I don't think that it was designed for him to make the tackles 8 yards downfield.
1st and 10 down at the 47. They'll stay with Hunt. Brandstatter comes up to make the hit again. About 3 on that.
He just filled again, Brandstatter. Now, this is what he was talking about when he said the defense is designed for Brandstatter to make the play by the line of scrimmage. Watch number 24, Phil. Bam, he's in the hole. As soon as he reads, he's there. Shake his head a little bit.
Yeah, 6 carries, 49 yards today for Van Hunt. On 2nd and 7, ball at the 44. Belton's taking this one down to the 40.
Hey, just say Brandstatter. That's all I have to say.
Brandstatter's just there. Should lock him in on every tackle.
Yeah, I mean, and I'll tell you what, watch him hit. He flies. He flies to the ball, and here it comes, bam! That time he kind of hit his own man.
Yeah, that was Robert Amy coming from behind. The throw on 3rd and 4 is incomplete. Trying the slant to Jonathan Horn was not there.
And that would have never been pass interference, Kenny, because the ball was tipped. And I saw the umpire right behind the line of scrimmage signal tip ball as soon as it went by him.
Dennis Callicutt in there on the coverage. And so once again, they will kick it away. And we'll see Taylor Wagner, if he can get a return on this one. Last one just rolled dead. See if Taylor can make a play on it. And he'll take a fair catch at the 10.
This offense got to do something. Just hold the ball a little bit longer. They're wearing the defense out. The defensive linemen are having a heck of a time because they really don't have a lot of guys that they could interchange on DePauw's defense, Kenny. And these guys have been out there a long time. And the offense has got to put some kind of a drive together.
There you look at Robbie Long, 3rd year here as a head coach. He's been at DePauw on the staff for 8 years. He's taken them to 2 Division III postseason appearances. And looking for his first victory in the Monon Bell. 0-2 in this game. And 1st and 10 from their own 10. Here comes Will King. Sets the pass, hits a crossing pattern complete to Hickam. And Gum is there to bring him down. First completion to Jordan Hickam, the 5'11 sophomore out of Greencastle.
Well, I tell you, you know, Gum was the Defensive Player of the Year last year. Watch this guy, 33. Well, you want to see form tackle? You're going to see the receiver coming across. Watch Gum set, bang, and he goes the other way. Gum is that guy. Hickam has no chance, and he knows it. Gum just says, you will go on the ground. I don't miss tackles.
Pickup of 7, 2nd and 3. They shovel it over to Ellis. He's brought down, and a flag comes in. Burrish coming up from the linebacker spot to make the hit.
Chop block on number 74, Lewis Brown.
I'll bet you're right.
I bet I am too, because I heard it.
Penalty is against the Tigers. Personal foul.
That's against the All-American Brown, the senior from Poway, California.
All right, he is number 74. He comes out. And once you have a guy that's being contained by another guy, which is your other tackle, Lampin, once he's being contained, you cannot go in and chop his legs out.
Well, here they had a chance for a 2nd down and 3. It's now a 2nd down and 11. Ball back at their 9. King pops, looking, throwing, incomplete. Looked like there was a mess up there. I think he wanted to go down the side to Stewart. Perhaps he was pumping in that direction.
Well, let me tell you what happens. First of all, young Will King is pumped. He was going to throw there. Then he pumped again to throw there. Then he pumped again to throw there. Same spot. Never turned to look someplace else. And when he finally threw there, there were 6 white shirts there. I mean, they're going to go where he was going to throw.
Well, it's 3rd down and 9. Under pressure. He's going down in the end zone, safety. Pat Clegg getting in there. Gum was right behind him. And a fumble, touchdown, adding to it. Is that it?
And King is hurt, and they only basically have one other quarterback.
Let's take a look at that. See what the ruling is on that.
Hey, first of all, you got to get rid of it. You're in the end zone, and they're coming after you. No.
That is not a fumble there. That's a safety.
Boy, his leg twisted. He twisted his knee.
Well, that is a touchdown. It's a touchdown for Clegg. Now it's 30-0. The key. We don't have a replay at Division III. You wonder, was his knee on the ground?
It looked like his knee was on the ground, but again, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
They don't have replay.
Because they would only have to rely on us. So what looked like a safety turns into a touchdown, and now turns into a 31-0 game. I would like to see that one more time, wouldn't you, Paul?
Yeah, because the one thing that has to happen here is, watch this. If his knee is down. The other replay we had from the back of the end zone, I thought was a lot better, that showed him his knee coming down, and the ball was he bobbling the ball.
Ken Rabate is number 44, bringing. He is down.
See,
that should have been a safety.
Safety, not a touchdown.
Ken Rabate comes in and makes the hit. Clegg picks up the ball for what is ruled as a touchdown. It's clearly a safety.
Yeah, his knee was down. There's no question about it.
So if DePauw needed any breaks, they're not getting any. A safety that instead turns into a touchdown. And let's get ready perhaps for the 5th quarterback this season for DePauw as they're working with Will King on the sideline. You can see him right there gingerly moving. Let's check in with Brad for an injury update and perhaps if you have any eligibility left.
That, guys, I don't, and that's probably fortunate for the Tigers, but Will King came off the field just shaking his head saying it's twisted bad. Max Gunther, the backup, the sophomore from Floyd's Knobs, Indiana, taking snaps. Looks like you guys are right. Quarterback number 5 this year for DePauw. Now, I did wear number 5, but that's probably the only correlation.
Hey, be sure not to mention to Be sure not to mention to Coach Long down there that actually was a safety.
I'll do that.
No, don't bring that up. Sansone has it and takes it to the 30. This year it started with Ethan Schreier. He had 3 starts, gets injured. Jackson Kirtley comes in with 4 starts. Drew Seaman comes in. He gets injured. And then we came to Will King last week for his first start. And now coming in for the first time this season is Max Gunther, a 6'1", 205-pound sophomore from Floyd Knobs, Indiana.
The interesting thing about the 3 quarterbacks that went down before King, they all went down with concussions. And that's one of the reasons, you know, this offensive line, they're just not blocking.
Straight up the middle, John Ellis, straight into the arms of C.J. Gum.
You know, C.J. Gum may set a record in tackles.
In this first half.
Yeah. He just reads really well. And he's getting a lot of help from his defensive linemen. The offensive linemen for DePauw, they're not blocking anybody.
Hickam comes out wide to the left, wide right is Stewart. 2 good young receivers haven't been able to get the ball to them, and they'll stay on the ground again. And Ellis will carry again, and Gum will tackle him again. C.J. Gum, though, he's been fun to talk to the last 2 seasons up here, hasn't he? When we visit with the team, there is an intensity with him as soon as he walks in the room.
Has he said anything to us?
I've
asked him.
No.
I asked him last year. I asked him 5 questions, and I got 5 different looks.
We got a smile out of his. We got him to smile this year, though, when we asked him if he had ever, killed someone on the football field. 0 for 7 on 3rd down. Gunther tucks it in and runs, and is actually going to come close to picking up a first down. Zinsmaster, number 54, tackles him.
Excuse me, Kenny, but Zinsmaster knocks him into a first down. He doesn't have a first down until Zinsmaster hits him from behind. Watch this play. It'll be number 54, Zinsmaster. He sees him running, he hits him from behind and knocks him into the first down.
Gives him 2 yards at least on that. They pick up 10 and get the first down. First 3rd down conversion of the day for DePauw. And back on the ground to John Ellis. Ellis had 100 yards rushing when he was a freshman in the victory over Wabash, the last time that the Tigers have beaten the Little Giants. As he goes out, and Armani Cato comes back in on a 2nd and 8.
Well, Ellis had a groin. I mean, he tore his groin this year, and he hardly played at all. And it is really for a running back, anybody, but anybody that's carrying the ball or stretching out a receiver to catch a ball, when you tear your groin, boy, it's hard to come back from that injury.
2nd and 8 at the 45. Gunther under pressure whips it out in the direction of Stewart.
Well, Zinsmaster is another, he just made another play. He's the guy that made Gunther throw the ball poorly.
Zinsmaster leads the team, is actually tied for the lead in sacks. He has 5 this year, along with the outside linebacker, Ken Rabade. Remember, they said we're keeping an eye on Ken Rabade, number 44. He has been a blitz master here in these last few weeks. Not as much today, though.
They don't have to blitz.
Haven't had to.
They're doing it with a 3-man rush.
3rd and 8. They converted the last time. Gunther rolling and running and lunging for that first down marker as he crosses midfield. It appears that he might be a little short there. It was Denzel Wilkins finally chasing him down. Clegg is right there, but it's Wilkins, number 32, that hits him, and he might have that first down.
If they mark it where the ball is, they're not going to get it, but they're going to go for it. Why not? But I'm going to tell you, that was one of the few times that Wabash sent 5 guys in a blitz.
It's 4th and 1. They didn't get a great spot on that. 4th and 1 for Gunther. Cato cutting back, nothing there. Cody Burrish First guy to hit him, the freshman out of Holland, Michigan, who's had a great season. Ken Rabate and Burrish, 2 freshmen for Wabash, flanking the veteran Gum this year, and they've been outstanding.
Well, the one thing about this play I really don't like, it's 4th down and about 1.5 yards. And why you would take the ball back to the running back. So you take it back 5 yards. That means he's got 5 more yards to pick up before he gets to the line of scrimmage.
And they're stuffed, and it will go back to Wabash near midfield, where I imagine everybody's happy just to be wearing red and white right now, Matt.
Absolutely. Guys, I'm down here with one of the very few people in this world that make me feel small, Pete Metzelars. Pete, it's good to see you here today, obviously. Pete's, former Buffalo Bill, former Carolina Panther, current offensive line coach for the Indianapolis Colts. Pete, it's got to be good to see Wabash up 31-0.
Awesome. After last year, you thought that could never happen again, and yet we're pretty good, close to head of that direction again, and you just hope it keeps happening over and over and over. I was telling someone, I think Paul Maguire may be the Wabash luck charm. He's just got to come back and do the game every year for the rest of his life.
We'd certainly love to have Paul back every single year, but Pete, it's obviously good to have you back. Has this rivalry changed at all in the last 30 years since you played in it?
I think there's more people here. I think it's just grown over the years. My wife and I were talking. The last time I was here was 30 years ago, my senior year, and unfortunately we lost the game. But it's just grown and gotten bigger and bigger, and it's a spectacular thing. It's a great deal.
All right, thanks a lot, Pete. We appreciate it. Have a good day.
Yeah.
Back to you guys.
All right, always good to see Pete, and maybe he's put you in jeopardy here, though, among DePauw fans, considering we still are in Greencastle, Paul, calling you the good luck charm.
Yeah, he could have done that with a phone call. He didn't have to do it over the air, I think. But I'll tell you, what a great player that guy was up at Wabash and with the Buffalo Bills. I mean, this is just one of the great tight ends in the game. Guy had a hell of a career, boy.
And what a career at Wabash as a football and basketball All-American.
He still holds some records in basketball, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think it's just almost every one. Wabash 1-5 on 3rd down conversions, facing a 3rd and 8 at the 49 of DePauw. Belton under pressure. And he'll wisely just run it out, stopping the clock at 1:16 to go. They were talking about the crowd here. Every other year they bring in about 4,000 portable bleachers from Indianapolis, which is just about an hour to the east of us on I-70, unless you want to take a shortcut, as we did the other day coming in with our illustrious friend and producer, Daryl Ewald.
We took that shortcut with our producer, Daryl Ewald, and it should have taken us about 40 minutes. It took us 4 hours, but it was a shortcut.
But you see some of the portable bleachers here, about 4,000, that doubles this capacity, as Wagner takes it at the 15. Flag is thrown, and Wagner upended around the 18-yard line. We wait on that flag. This place holds a little over 4,000, but for the Monon Bell, about 8,100 because of the temporary bleachers that they bring in. Those are on the other side where the Wabash faithful is sitting.
But it's nice. I mean, the Wabash people, they tell them, okay, you have to wear white.
It's like a whiteout over there where you see today.
Okay, you can only wear white. And we'll sprinkle in a little bit of red.
About 20 people didn't get the message. They wore red. They missed the text.
Now there was a block in the back on this play. And they might have had too many guys on the field.
I think a combination on this.
Wouldn't you love to know what they really talk about? I mean, it takes a long time. The guy that threw the flag, the guy that threw the one flag should be the only guy that talks to him. Now if he needs some help from somebody else, they call him in, but not until then. Well, there's 1:05 before the half.
Eric Rayburn's probably saying, let's call something. We're up 31-0. This is one of the biggest first halves in the history of the Monon Bell.
Legal substitution on the return team. Penalty is declined. During the return, block in the back. On the return team, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Okay, too many men, and then the block in the back. And so he's a little late getting off. making the dive. You gotta respect that, don't you?
Yeah, there's a block. I mean, you see the guy's number in the back of his jersey. You don't need to be pushing him. And
the key here is, would you say, Mr. Maguire, 1st and 10 on your own 8, 1:05 to go, just hold on to the ball.
I'll tell you what, I would not be. Well, the score dictates now with exactly what they're going to do. They're up 31-0, but you know they have their timeouts. But they're going to let the clock run down and let DePauw get out of here. See, these guys are looking over, saying, you know, why don't we take a timeout and force these guys to punt? Maybe able to get another score.
Saw number 66, Pat Clegg. He recovered a fumble for a touchdown. What looked like it was actually a safety. It was ruled a fumble and a touchdown for Wabash. That put the margin up to 31-0. On this, we would presume to be the last play of the first half. Gunther hands off to Ellis. And Gum is there. C.J. Gum has made every other tackle, it seems, in this game. A tremendous first half for Gum and the Wabash defense. They forced 3 turnovers that resulted in touchdowns in this first half.
And DePauw, what they have to do, they go in now and just say, look, you know, just eliminate the minor mistakes. You get the 5-yard penalties. You get a semblance of a drive started, and bang, they get hit with a penalty. Just quit doing things that are stupid.
I imagine Eric Rayburn's a happy guy right now, Matt.
I would imagine so, guys. Coach, up 31-0, have to be thrilled with how your team's played in the first half.
Yeah, our defense played fantastic. Obviously, we'd like to play a little better on offense, but you know, haven't turned the ball over, made too many penalties. I've got to start blocking better. But defensively, our guys are playing great. Hopefully, we can keep it up for another 30 minutes.
What's it going to take to sustain this in the second half, Coach?
Well, we got to do a better job on offense and put some drives together. It's particularly tough into the wind, you know, so we got to run the ball well and then just got to maintain our focus. You know, can't ease up because we played a good first half. Got to come out and ready to roll in the second half.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Back to you guys.
All right, Eric Rayburn did kind of sum it up. It has been the defense and the turnovers that have made the difference, and Chambly had the punt return, and that's blown this game open.
Well, that's the one thing he said is basically what we just said before is don't make mistakes. We've made a few mistakes on offense. We have made no mistakes on defense. They've just played lights out on defense. The defense has done the job. Now he wants to see, because he knows he has a better offense than he's seeing right now, even though they're up 31 points.
And for DePauw, they knew coming in they had to be close to perfect. They have been far from that. They're down 31-0 here at halftime. We take a look at a lot of things here at intermission. Some of the history of this great rivalry that's a little one-sided today. Stay with us here on HDNet. And welcome back here at halftime. Blackstock Stadium on the campus of DePauw. And the Tigers came in hoping to pull that upset over 9th-ranked and unbeaten Wabash. And not even close, 31-0 here at intermission. Kenny, Rice, Paul Maguire, we're glad that you're staying with us here on HDNet. This is the kind of game that you come into. We talked about it always being unpredictable, and last year it was unbeaten DePauw going up there, Paul, and getting thumped by Wabash. They were hoping they could reverse that fortune today, but turnovers have killed them.
Well, DePauw goes into this game, so you understand, the score is 31-0, but they win on their fourth quarterback. The 3 quarterbacks before King got knocked out, concussions actually, and so now King gets knocked out in this ball game, and the score is 31-0. Should have been a safety, but it was a touchdown. I don't think that part of it's going to make that much of a difference, but it was a bad call. And in Division III, they do not have instant replay, so that's why that wasn't overturned or looked at. Now, when you take a look at this, Belton, the quarterback for Wabash, I mean, this guy in the first drive carried the ball every single play. And they were faking out the defensive ends, and then Wabash went in and didn't score. They got a field goal, and that we thought, you know, this is really good for DePauw.
But it came down to 3 turnovers in this game and a big punt return And that's been the difference. You see the 3 turnovers resulting in 21 points. I always talk about turnovers being huge, but 0 rushing yards right now for DePauw. It's been tough all year for anyone to run against Wabash. They're giving up around 67 yards a game. They've almost shut down DePauw totally. There's no threat at all. It seems to have to go through the air. Can they get anything changed in that department?
I don't think so. The problem is that Wabash, for DePauw, is the Wabash has 3 down linemen that are really doing the job on their 5 offensive linemen. And what that allows is they have the best linebackers, the core linebackers, and led by C.J. Gum. These guys are making all the plays, not downfield, folks, but they're making all the plays at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, which now leaves the secondary corners and safeties just to roam and just feel free to the pass defense. But the problem is the quarterback doesn't have time to get the ball to him.
And Brad is standing by now with Coach Long of DePauw.
All right, Coach, tough offensively first half, just 39 total yards. What do you do to sustain some drives and get some points in the second half?
Well, we got to do our jobs. You know, across the board, all 11 guys have got to execute the game plan, and we're not doing that right now, and that's why we're struggling on offense, and we're giving up big plays in the special teams game and stuff like that. We've got to do the things that we worked on all week to prepare for this contest, and we got to get back to that.
Quarterback, will we see Will King back out there or Max Gunther? What type of quarterback is he if he's your guy in the second half?
Yeah, Will's doing okay, and we're going to give him a shot here to start the second half and see how he's doing with the knee, and then we'll go from there.
All right, thanks, Coach. Good luck second half.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back up.
All right, thanks, Brad. You look at Matt Gunther, who came in as the 5th quarterback this season, and there's Will King. King has been cleared to play this second half if he wishes. I mean, it was a rough first half for him, and this just his second start in varsity football here at DePauw. Played some in the JV as a freshman, and then has been holding the clipboard basically for 3 years, and a good attitude about it. He felt he had the game plan down coming in here today when he talked to us yesterday.
I felt very comfortable, relaxed, and I think when he goes into huddle this time for the first time, he pulls them all together and said, all right, block somebody, anybody.
C.J. Gum, 11 tackles overall, 8 of those solo jobs. He's just been everywhere today, number 33.
Well, you know, and we talked to the offense of DePauw and just said, you know, normally when a quarterback comes out or the center, they kind of point, where is the guy? Where do we want to know who this guy is? And I thought it would, I thought it would be C.J. Gum is the guy that we needed to know where he's at. He's made 11 tackles. Well, that's not the guy that they look at. They look at this guy.
Ken Rabade.
Yeah, and
number 44.
And he's made a
Ken
couple
Rabade.
of tackles, but he's not done half the work that C.J. Gum has done.
Ken Rabade did make the tackle that forced what was ruled as a fumble that Clegg recovered for a touchdown. As we get ready to start the second half, and receiving the ball will be Wabash. This is only the 3rd home game of the year for DePauw. DePauw is playing as an independent for the first time since 1988. They left the Southern Collegiate Athletic Conference. They'll be in the North Coast Athletic Conference next year, where Wabash will be a conference foe.
I don't understand how they do this. I'm serious. I don't like it.
Mom kicks it. Chambly has it back at the goal line. He's returned a kickoff this year for a touchdown. Gets that one across the 20 to around the 23. Wes Chambly, who is the all-time leader in kickoff return average at Wabash. And as we talked about earlier, he's brought back a couple of punts this year for a touchdown. We saw one earlier, and has also had a kickoff return for a touchdown.
And 7 touchdowns receiving. So
in the meantime,
he's the game breaker. He really is. And they've got another guy as receiver, number 19, Jonathan Horn. And Jonathan Horn really has not done anything this afternoon. I expect him to do a little bit more in the second half, and that's Jonathan Horn.
He's out far right, but Belton will keep it on the ground and hold on to it, and he's brought down by the middle linebacker, Matt Johnson, the 5'10 senior out of St. Charles, Illinois. Johnson wearing number 11, as all linebackers who really always wanted to be quarterbacks do. That's what he wanted to be when he came here. That's what he was in high school. He's kept the number 11.
Well, his backup is Crook, and he wears number 8, so obviously he was a quarterback.
Those quarterbacks, they don't go quietly into the college night, do they? And 2nd and 12 at the 20. Wabash will keep this one on the ground. And pick up a little bit. It's Van Hunt, who has a touchdown in this game already. And that touchdown was the one that kind of got everything going there, because that was scored right after they fumbled the exchange, and King didn't fall on it in time, and Wabash got it back, and a couple plays later Hunt takes it in, and suddenly it's a 10-0 game, and it just escalated from there.
And it's just, you know, when you're a young football team like DePauw is, it's just hard to get it back and get it going.
3rd and 9, Belton rolling, good protection, throwing complete to Chambly for a first down. That was right on the numbers as he split defenders. It was Myron Burr and Matt Johnson standing on each side.
Boy, I tell you, Chambly just ran an outstanding pattern. When you watch him come down, he sets up between the two defenders. I mean, it was a perfect throw, but he's in a right position to make the play. And he got right between the linebackers. Look at here. Bolton looking for the ball. Look at where he sits down, right in the middle of the defense. Perfect play.
13 yards on that. 1st and 10 out to the 36. Hunt springs outside. Flag is thrown. He gets up across the 45. Flag is thrown, though, in the backfield. Robbie Schuler moving in from the safety to make the tackle.
Little hands to the face on the offense.
Penalty is a personal foul against Wabash, a blow to the head.
Eric Rayburn.
I love it when the coach looks out and goes,
"What the?
Oh, what?" There it is. There, you know.
could that be Jack Schaefer, 59, pushing off Matt Johnson?
I would think so.
That brings it back to the 22, where it will be 1st and 25.
This is a very good offensive line for Wabash. I mean, they've got good size, and they outgain DePauw by about 35 pounds.
Chambly in the slot as they hand it again to Hunt, who goes to work once again.
Well, that's what Coach Rayburn told us yesterday. We really have to work on our running game. We've got the receivers. We've got the quarterback. The most important thing we have to do is concentrate on our running game. Not only for this game, but all the way through the playoffs. And the playoff system, for those of you that have never followed it or know anything about it, it's absolutely wild. Now, after Wabash wins or loses, whatever they do today, and they win this game, in order to win the championship of Division III, they have to play 5 games. 5 games.
32 teams go into that playoff next week. Wabash, in all likelihood, will be hosting the first round. On a screen to Hunt, it was incomplete.
Did you see who was up to break up the screen? Number 24, Brandstetter. And there is pressure on the quarterback. He kind of throws this ball before he really wants to.
Graham Wilkerson was charging in. Belton 2 for 9, 21 yards. You look at Brandstetter leading this team in tackles on the day and on the season. And it's 3rd and 20 at the 28 of Wabash. And a flag.
Number 64, Elliott.
Penalties against Wabash. Illegal
He was on the center.
By the way, you see all that motion there. That's, if you watch Wabash ever, remember last year we showed that. That's the coaches, the players. One of those guys is the key guy. That's the guy they're looking at to see what the play is. Belton stepping back, throwing down the sideline, and it's broken up. Nice play by Myron Burr, the junior from Indiana. Did not start today because he's been slowed by a knee injury. but he has been a tough cornerback all year.
Watch Myron Bird. I'm going to tell you something. At the last second, he's going to turn back to the ball. Just an outstanding play. Chambly was the receiver on going down the sideline. The ball was out, but I'll tell you what, Bird just waited for the last second to make the turn and knock the ball down.
Sobleski will punt it. Taylor Wagner waits. Low kick. It's going to be good field position for DePauw. Coming to a stop at the 49 of the Tigers.
Perhaps no student athlete personifies the school motto, Wabash always fights, more than senior Wes Chambly.
I was injured the first game of the season, 2010. During rehab, I was stuck on the sideline watching my teammates play without me, so that was kind of a motivating factor right there. I wanted to work harder so I could be back there to help them out.
After months of rehab, Chambly returned to the outdoor track scene, qualifying for nationals in the 400-meter hurdles. And on the gridiron,
here's the Wes Chambly show. He's going to score.
Chambly is tied for first in Division III punt return yardage, headed into what will be his final Monon Bell game.
To be able to play in the Monon Bell game one last time, I can't begin to explain how excited and how blessed I am to have that opportunity.
And Wes Chambly with a 44-yard punt return today for a touchdown. His fourth one of his career. That ties him with teammate Jonathan Koop for the most in Wabash history. And that Monon Bell looks like it will be going 28 miles back up the road to Crawfordsville, the home of the Little Giants, unless there's something really special happening here for DePauw in this second half. And here comes Will King, who limped to the sideline near the end of that first half when he was tackled and fumbled and gave up a touchdown, but he starts this second half now, 1st and 10 at his own 49. On a reverse, looking to throw, but no one to throw it to is Hickam. He brings it down, goes down, and a flag is thrown. Pat Clegg making the tackle. Cato gave it to Hickam on the reverse and nowhere to throw it to.
This play, first of all, took so long to run that it almost ran a minute off the clock. But the problem is that the two offensive linemen, it looked like a crack back block in the backfield. The ball was going to be thrown by Hickam, but he never really got a hold of the ball, never saw anybody downfield, never had a chance to throw it because Zinsmaster is a defensive end on the right-hand side, Kenny, and he just stayed home. He went right upfield and messed up the whole play.
Number 74 of the offense.
Penalty is a personal foul against the Tigers for an illegal block.
And it's against Lewis Brown. The very articulate Lewis Brown, by the way. We met him yesterday. He writes for the school newspaper, had a nice article. Here, there's Brown. You see once again, same call against him again, Paul.
Same thing. You can't crack back at a guy and below the knees. It's to protect the players, and he's done it twice.
So it moves it back to the 39 of DePauw, 1st and 25.
And you're not going to beat Wabash with trick plays today because they take too long.
King flips it out to Cato out of the backfield. 45, he gets that penalty yardage back, getting close to midfield. Ken Rabate making the tackle after a 14-yard gain.
See, this is a nice play for DePauw because, he's looking downfield to throw the ball, and King doesn't find anybody. You got a back that slips out of the backfield. There's supposed to be a linebacker on him. He can beat a linebacker. So he goes down and he picks up, 13 of the 15 yards that they just lost. Now they're in good shape. It's 2nd down 11. All this stuff is makeable. Get yourself in makeable situations.
Talked about a Ken Rabate, the freshman, going to be so good. You saw him on that as he was able to catch up with him to make the tackle coming from behind. Short pass completed right in front of Gum to Coburn.
All right, you picked up 5 yards. Now you got a makeable third down. You got a chance to get yourself a first down. But don't forget about the backs coming out of the backfield. See, the thing about throwing against this team, Wabash, you got to throw the intermediate routes like the 12 to 15 because the linebackers really kind of stay close to the line of scrimmage. They don't do much dropping.
3rd and 7 at the 47. King sets, tries to thread the needle, incomplete. Ken Rabate is right there again. He was going for Coburn again, incomplete, and brings up 4th down.
Ken Rabate is number 44, as you were saying, and he is the fastest linebacker. This guy can really haul it out. You got to think about something. He's a freshman linebacker, and he's 5'11", 187 pounds. Now, he's not going to get any taller. And he better not put any more weight on, but he could develop a little more speed.
Eric Malm to kick it away. Standing back is Chambly. Nice kick. Has the wind behind him. It's going to roll down to the 4-yard line. So good kick by Malm of 43 yards. Wabash with the ball coming up.
At DePauw University, the arts and liberal arts take on many forms.
School of Music is about 175 students. We have a full symphony orchestra, we have a full concert band, we have very large university choir. We have all types of every imaginable chamber ensemble. We have very strong performers and teachers in all of those areas.
The culture at DePauw encourages everyone, not just music majors, to perform in ensembles.
It's not about just your musical training, it's about your education. The integration of what we call the CLA, the College of Liberal Arts, and the School of Music is very important to us. Part of it is the School of Music musicians are outside the School of Music performing, but the other part of it is that the College of Liberal Arts students are performing in the School of Music. So we don't care what your major is. You play an instrument, you sing the part, you're ready to perform, we want you here.
Welcome back to Blackstock Stadium. Rather ominous there, across from us, just behind the bleachers where the opposing team always sits, the cemetery. Well, you know how many dead people are in that cemetery, Paul?
All of them.
Yes.
Do you know why they put a fence around the cemetery?
No, why?
Because the people are dying to get in.
Thank you, Greencastle. We're here all week, or at least for about another hour and a half. Glad that you're with us here on HDNet. And actually, starting in bad field position for the first time today is Wabash, backed up to their own 2 after that nice punt by Malm. And they will get some of that going here with Tyler Holmes taking it right up the middle before, of course, Ben Brandstatter comes in to make the tackle.
You know, we were talking about C.J. Gum making tackles, 11 tackles for Wabash. Brandstatter's got to have about the same amount. This guy, and he's a safety, but man, can he fill.
That was a nice run. They pick up 6 on a first down, 2nd and 4. Belton stays with this, almost gave it to Holmes again, but decided to keep it himself, and he goes down.
I think Holmes is going to take it, and Belton didn't want to give it to him. Watch this. He puts the ball in, you're right in. Look at Holmes, he even turned.
Zach Price making the tackle, the 199-pound junior from Bristol, Indiana. No gain on that. It's 3rd and 4 now. The ball at the 10. This would be a big hold for DePauw. With the wind blowing in the face of Wabash right now, they should have good field position if they can force a punt. Belton under pressure, throwing, and almost did Brandstatter make the catch? No. Good try. He almost came up with an interception. He's done everything else today.
Well, he has. He really has. This guy, you talk about, we talk about C.J. Gum for Wabash, how he reads and sees all the stuff. Then there's a lot of heat on the quarterback. Now, Belton's going back and watch this. Wilkerson's in his face. And then Brandstatter, this ball does hit the ground. But Brandstatter is one of those guys that, I mean, just look at the reaction. Almost.
Great play by Wilkerson to put the pressure on again, and they're looking at Wilkerson. You see the senior out of Indianapolis. with 3.5 sacks this season. And almost picked up another sack here, almost had a safety. Another step.
Wilkerson goes down, and it looks like he got kneed in the chest, and he got the wind knocked out of him.
Sobleski, 5 punts on the day, 34.6 average, and he's kicking back to Tyler Wagner. We haven't had a chance to see him really get a hold of one today for a return. He'll let this one bounce a step away. That was a pretty nice kick. Gets it out to the 47-yard line.
I'm sitting there watching DePauw after like a punt, whatever it is. When they let the ball go, the whole team just runs off the field. They don't want anybody to get near anything.
Don't touch anything after that 37-yard punt.
All right, DePauw's got to, seriously, they got to get something. Just get a first down. Let's work on that first, and then the other things may come around.
Well, they have good field position for the first time in a while, starting at the 47 of Wabash, and they'll go on the ground with it, and Cato gets it down inside the 40-yard line. That's been Brian Coleman for the first time today. The 5'10" sophomore out of Redding, California, Brian Coleman, and C.J. Gum fighting off tackles to make the play.
Coleman got an outstanding block from Meeks, Anthony Meeks, the fullback, number 31.
That was the first carry for Coleman today, who has 2 rushing touchdowns. And he picks up 8 on that, so it's 2nd and 2 at the 39. They'll try Coleman again, maybe a yard on that. Let's check in on the Wabash side with Matt.
Thanks, guys. You know, I've known C.J. Gum for the last 5 years. Obviously, he's a 5th-year senior now, 5th Monon Bell game. I can honestly say I don't think I've ever seen him as locked in as I see him today. He's just playing absolutely incredibly. I talked to him yesterday, and I asked him if it was hard to come back for his 5th year after finishing the season in the 47-0 victory over DePauw last year. He says at one time he was a little bit conflicted about it, but I think he's probably pretty happy that he decided to come back, guys.
No one on the DePauw side is, though. Thank you, Matt. 13 tackles on the day for Gum. They'll be glad to see him graduate, won't they? It's 3rd and 3 at the 40 and a timeout.
Let me just say one other thing about C.J. Gum. When we talked to him yesterday, and you know, you look at these guys and how many of these guys really would ever get to the next level, the professional level. And there hasn't been any for a long, long time on either one of these teams. And I look at C.J. Gum. He's 6'1". He weighs 231 pounds. Probably carried 235. But here's a guy that someone should take a look at. He's not going to be drafted, but he's going to be invited to a camp. Because when they go to camp, they're looking for guys that are on special teams. And a guy like CJ is a guy that can play all the special teams. He's got outstanding speed. He's got ball awareness. He knows where that ball is. He knows how to get there. He knows how to avoid blockers, and he really knows how to tackle. So there's a guy that I look at when you see him, you think, you know, he has a chance to go to the next level if he wants to. Yesterday, I asked him, I said, have you thought about it? He said, well, you know, I'm not big enough. I said, yes, you are.
Yeah.
I said, yes, you are. You're not as big as a lot of the linebackers, but your heart is.
I think you surprised him, and I hope encouraged him when you told him that. We all met with the players yesterday. And
you know, he needs to really think about it and take a look at it. Again, he's not going to be drafted.
3rd and 3, zinging it over the middle, complete for a first down to Jordan Hickam. And a nice pass by King. Take another look at Will King here.
Look at Will King. Now that's what you want a quarterback to do. Just sit there. He's gonna take a shot anyway, so you might as well complete the pass when you're taking the shot.
Wilkins and Gum in on the tackle at the end of that. A first down, 1st and 10 at the 32. Coleman skips, hops, and gets inside the 30. Brian Coleman, who has 2 rushing touchdowns this season, that leads the team. It's not been a grinded out kind of team this year on the ground. They've only scored 5 rushing touchdowns, and their backup tailback, number 20, Coleman, has 2 of those.
Well, and the reason for the not many rushing touchdowns, Kenny, is their offensive line. First of all, they're not very big. They're not. And they just have not played together long enough. It's something when you play, you got to play together for a long time as a lineman, because when you say you have 5 offensive linemen.
King throwing in through the hands of Hickam. He was going for it all. And back in coverage was Austin Hodges, as Jordan Hickam almost pulled that in as Will King unloaded. We heard he had a good arm. He looked in on that.
I'll tell you, look where the pass is thrown. The pass is in perfect position because Austin Hodges, number 2, really doesn't have a chance to make a play on the ball. One of the reasons he's only 5'8". But I'm saying the offensive lineman, let me get back here for just a second. You got to play as one. There are 5 guys, and these guys haven't been together long enough to do that. Next year, maybe.
3rd and 8. Throws it incomplete. Trying for Sansone. Coop was there on the coverage. Jonathan Coop, who had an interception in the first half that he took in for a touchdown when things really began to open up for Wabash. We have a flag on the play.
It's against Wabash,
Jonathan
and they're going to call Coop.
Penalties against Wabash.
Number 8.
Against Coop, break for DePauw.
Got there a little too soon.
Ball moves down. It's at the 25. It's a first down at the 25. DePauw with their first serious threat of the day. And hit in the backfield. Akin Rabade comes in. Akin Rabade just makes a terrific hit right here about the same time Cato gets the ball.
That's why they like this guy as a freshman, and that's why DePauw tried to get him to come to DePauw. This young man is playing alongside C.J. Gum. He's learning how to read. He learns how to react, and he's got outstanding speed.
Akin Rabade coming in here tied for the lead on the team in sacks as well. Loss of 3, 2nd and 13 at the 28. King set, steps up, throws incomplete. In and out of the hands of Hickam as Akin Rabade was there.
I'll tell you, Sanson looked at the bench. He gave a little nod. He was split out as a wide receiver, number 4, and he was wide open. There he is back on this side again, and he's in the slot.
3rd and 13 at the 28. King stepping up, going down. C.J. Gum brings him down. Gum with the sack.
Well, Will King yesterday told me, he says, I don't have much speed. And this will show you right now he doesn't. He takes 3 steps and then he starts to move. I have a grandson that runs like that. He just, takes his little steps and then all of a sudden he starts moving. Well, that's the same thing with King.
King was, his self-deprecation, he was funny yesterday when he was talking about that Brown was faster than him, talking about his left guard. He said, I think he can outrun me. So the drive, their best drive of the day is stopped now, and Mound comes in on 4th and 18. And lifts it up. Can they get it to stop? No. It'll bounce into the end zone, and so it'll be good. A better start, at least, for Wabash. They'll bring it out to the 20. A little pooch kick right there. Had a chance to keep the ball inside the 10, like the Paul Maguire that I remember the Buffalo Bills used to always do.
Well, I honestly...
No, seriously.
I can't remember that. But anyway,
no,
that far back. I used to kick the ball out of bounds. I aimed for the 10-yard line to kick it out of bounds so they didn't have a chance to bring it back, and it wouldn't have a chance to go in the end zone.
See, and I know it won't be recorded this way, but I'll ask you, I always thought about that. That basically was about a 12-yard punt when you consider they bring it back out to the 20. In terms of field
he gets
position.
credit for that 20.
But he gets the credit for the 20.
And he shouldn't.
With the ball, And swarming in there was Patrick Keller and Matt Johnson to make the tackle on Derek Rowe. Has some changes in, along with Tyler Burke is back in now, in for the first time today at quarterback. Remember last year they split some time near the end of the season. He and Belton, they shared time throughout last year's Monon Bell.
And Coach Rayburn said, I wouldn't hesitate to put Tyler Burke in. He said, you know, I love to give him some time. He's an outstanding player, and I have no problems with him at quarterback.
Senior from Kalamazoo, Michigan, steps up. He's been chased and brought down. And getting the sack is Patrick Keller, the 247-pound junior out of Ackworth, Georgia.
And, you know, this is really going to be a question. Does Keller, get a sack or not? Because this ball is back to the line.
I was going to say, did he get back to the line?
But it's right on the line.
What do you think? We give him a sack? No, we're not going to give him a sack. We're checking with the official score. He just got there. He was like 6 inches away.
Here they come. Here
Third
they come.
and 10 on the 20. Burke steps over. He's looking for those signals being relayed, and now Wabash is going to have to take a timeout. Well, you got a new quarterback stepping in, even though he knows the system. You're looking at about, what, 3-4 guys, a coach, a player or two, that you got to figure out who's the designated guy to look at to get the real call, because they're all making signals on the sideline.
Well, I think what happened on that play right there, Tyler Burke, he read right off the bat, he read blitz, because they all shifted in and the linebackers came up and the safety came up into the slot. And once he saw that, then he wanted to use an audible. But by the time he got to an audible, now they read it, they backed out of it. You know, it's one of the things, you get a new quarterback in the game that's sitting on the sidelines all most of the game watching for the last 2.5 hours, and you want to do some things that he's not really used to. They did it beautifully right there. I think that's something that they should have, when they look back at it, it's something they should have done to Belton. You know, get him thinking.
And there was a moment early on when it was still a contest. It was still around 10-0. Might have been 3-0. Remember when they had to kick it away again? We talked about that, how they'd gotten back into the game a little bit. You pointed out the pressure they were putting on Belton at that time before all the turnovers happened.
Yeah, you just get a guy like Belton or any quarterback now. Now they moved. They're doing everything wrong.
And this will bring it back 5 yards.
Against the little giant.
Yeah, it looked like Schaefer was the one, Jake Schaefer. Senior out of Terre Haute. He's had a very solid season.
Right here on the bottom of the screen, he moved, but the guard right next to him also, Rudy, he moved.
Yeah, I think you flip a coin on that one. 3rd and 15, under pressure. Incomplete. Robinson on the coverage.
There's something I told you in the beginning of this game when we were doing the opening. I just said, you know, the one thing that they had to do is go after the quarterback of Wabash. I mean, don't let him sit there and beat you. And I think, you know, that they finally realized that they now can get to this guy. Even though they have changed quarterbacks, you can still get to him.
Wagner awaits the kick from Sobleski. Somebody get a piece of that. That's a line drive that's going to roll down about the 43-yard line. And good field position for DePauw to start after a 28-yard punt. Not Sobleski's best of the day.
Well, Sobleski was lucky that he even caught the ball. Look at this. He went up for the ball. Is this thing blocked? It sounded like they got a piece of it.
Curious. I tell you, right in there, though, on top of all of that was Jeremiah Morgan, a reserve running back on the special teams. King with the fake. Handoff instead to Ellis. The Statue of Liberty, Paul. When do we see that?
Just now.
Just now.
I haven't seen it for years, but I'll tell you what, this was a great play. I mean, he fakes this, watch him, he fakes the toss to the outside to throw and just run it behind his back. That is perfect. Ellis gets the ball, and this young man, you know, talking to him yesterday, smiling, he said, I would not let this game go by. I am not 100%, but I'm going to play.
He picks up 18, his best carry by far today, and it's 1st and 10 down to the 25. King looking, setting, throwing in the end zone. It's incomplete, knocked down by Austin Hodges.
Boy, Austin Hodges times this thing perfectly. This ball is thrown late, and you're looking at a quarterback that hasn't played that much, so it will come out a little bit late. But this ball should have been thrown a couple of beats before he threw it. He just laid it out, and Austin Hodges read it perfectly. Watch how long he held the ball. Now look at Austin Hodges comes over the top and knocks the ball away.
He was going for Bobby Coburn. That's been his favorite target today. It's 2nd and 10 at the 25. King again setting up, comes over to the near sideline. Sansone has it inside the 20, gets it down to around the 16.
I tell you what, if Sansone would have caught this ball in his chest, it would have knocked him out. I'm going to tell you what, King fired this ball. Look at that thing.
Austin Hodges has to come in and make the tackle after he got past Andrew Gibson. It's 3rd down and a yard to go down to the 16. Clock ticking down here in the 3rd quarter. But something to cheer about for DePauw right now. Ellis gets it down inside the 10. This is the first time.
Are you serious about this, what you're going to say?
No, I'm not. This is the first time today they've been in the red zone. Although, as some of our witty cohorts saying, it seems like the first time in 2 years. 1st and 5 at the 5. Ellis carrying. Touchdown. John Ellis carrying it for the score. The senior, one of the top 10 rushers all time in DePauw history, has battled a groin injury, has missed 5 games this season. He said, no way, I'll miss this game today, and he takes it in.
Boy, he got an outstanding block on the outside for number 74, Les Brown. I don't know if he hurt his groin on the turning on that play there, but that was just hard to get that ball into the end zone. Ellis just is really determined to get a touchdown.
Eric Malm will kick the point after. It's good. With 0.5 of a second to go in this 3rd quarter.
I'll tell you, Coach Graber of Wabash is not happy. Look at this run. Look at 74. Brown, bam, on the outside, he makes a block. Now there is a tackle by C.J. Gum. I said he doesn't miss tackles. He had a piece of it, but he didn't knock him back, and Ellis went in for the touchdown.
6 different receivers catching passes for DePauw today. 5-play, 43-yard drive. Took just under 2 minutes and capped off by a determined run from John Ellis. He's had an outstanding career here, the senior, in the top 10 list of all-time rushers, and he gets them on the board. Chamblee standing back, awaiting the kick of Eric Malm. Malm probably wondering on that one. He's punted all day long. He probably forgot about going for the point after, but he drilled it through. Wonder why the holder was there with him.
Be interesting to see if Belton goes back in. We didn't have any word of whether Belton got hurt or not. Because Tyler Burke had that last series.
And the wind whipping up a little more. I get a little cool here today, but it's been a beautiful afternoon for football. Aesthetically, to watch it.
Oh, yeah. A little windy.
At the goal line. Oh, that was a big hit. That was a huge hit. And making that hit was Jeremiah Morgan. Great special play by Morgan for DePauw. We go to the 4th quarter, 31-7, Wabash leading. Over 8,000 here today for the 118th renewal of the Monon Bell, the Wabash Little Giants, 9th in the country, 9-0 coming in here. A 31-7 lead over DePauw as we start the fourth quarter. Kenny Rice and Paul Maguire, glad that you're with us here on HDNet for one of the really great slices of Americana football out there. This Monon Bell, 118 years, and Wabash trying to win it for the third year in a row. They stay with Tyler Burke at quarterback as we begin this fourth quarter. He spins around after being hit by J.D. Robinson, the freshman linebacker out of Indianapolis.
I would have loved to have heard what Robbie Long said to this DePauw football team, because one of the things that he said on the way out was, we are not doing the things that we practiced all week long. We're not playing the position that we were taught to play this week for this game. And apparently what has happened this second half, they are. They're not making big runs now with the quarterback.
Throws it out in the flat, intended for Chambly. It's incomplete. Last year in a shellacking, actually, one of the worst losses in one of the biggest margins in the history of this series was last year, a 47-0 win by Wabash when they upset DePauw. But when DePauw scored a minute ago, that was the first time in 2 years in the Monon Bell game they'd been in the red zone. They were shut down last year, never even got there.
Well, that was right then since 2009.
Yeah, Darrell Ewald, always right, our producer. 3rd and 7 from the 19, incomplete, going for Chambly.
Oh, that
Robinson covers.
That was J.D. Robinson, and we asked the coach yesterday, Robbie Long, who is your best linebacker? He said, I'm going to tell you, this kid here, he is a freshman, J.D. Robinson, number 41. He said he's a ball hawk. He's a guy that just always knows where to be and in the right place.
High snap. Zableski's able to get it and get off a nice kick afterwards. Wagner is going to let it go. That was a terrific play by the punter, Cameron Sobleski.
You know, the thing about it is that the guys I don't think the guys on the special team realize it. Sobleski, when he went up in the air with the ball and then he started to run with it, when he runs like, all right, now he drops the ball, he runs with it, you can nail him. You can hit the guy. And they didn't do it. They're worried about staying away and just blocking the ball, not hitting him. You can hit him.
Instead, it turns into a 59-yard punt. So what looked like was going to be outstanding field position. Instead, DePauw will start this drive. 1st and 10 at their own 22. King steps back, good protection. Throwing for Coburn, and it is almost picked off by Hodges.
That ball was just thrown behind. If that ball's let out in front of Coburn, it's a catch. Take a look at this throw. Now he's throwing into the wind, he being King, and look at how the ball's behind him. Hodges didn't have a chance to catch it either. The ball was thrown that poorly. I know the rush is on. Hey, I'm up here and you're getting whacked, but you still got to step up and throw it.
Jorge Diaz-Aguilar, sophomore out of South Bend, putting on the pressure on 2nd and 10 at the 22. King over the middle, and it's intercepted. Intercepted, and another touchdown for Wabash. Denzel Wilkins takes it in. We do have a flag back around the 25. Wilkins, the freshman out of Rickton Park, Illinois, with his 2nd interception of the season. We'll see if it holds up as he takes it back 28 yards for the score.
This was just a poorly thrown ball.
To the touchdown. Personal foul, number 8. After the play, personal foul. Here, those penalties.
The flag is a dead ball, personal foul, charged to both teams.
So Coop and Stewart doing a little pushing. It stands as a touchdown. Wilkins taking it in for the interception and the touchdown. The 2nd interception return for a score today in that secondary. Jonathan Coop getting the 1st for Wabash.
Well, Coach Rayburn, you were absolutely right at halftime. Your defense is playing extremely well. Your special teams are playing extremely well. Your offense isn't playing very good.
This has been a turnover game. 4 turnovers resulting in 27 points, maybe 28 depending on this kick. You realize that the offense today has not made it into the end zone, Paul. It's been 2 touchdowns returned for 2 interceptions, is that right?
Yeah. Yes.
2 for that. They've had the Chambly comes in as we take another look at a special play here by Wilkins. Nice play, picks it off and goes.
Well, Sansone fell down, and I don't know if that's where he was throwing the ball or not, but it was a poor throw because he threw into coverage.
I remembered it. Van Hunt had a nice touchdown run. That's been the offense today. That and a field goal for them, and everything else has happened on turnovers from the defense.
Fumble in the end zone.
Fumble in the end zone. 2 returned for touchdown on interceptions. Coop and Wilkins, and then of course Chambly with the 44-yard punt return for a touchdown. Folks, we're just doing this off the top of our head.
Off at the top of my bald spot.
Well, once again, just when it looked like there might be a little bit of an exciting punch to end this thing for DePauw, they didn't get to the kicker when they had a chance on that high snap of a punt. Turned into a 59-yard punt. That was a huge play. They didn't get great field position. They threw an interception, and now it's a 38-7 game. Rice comes in the lineup. Taking it is Megerly. Megerly across the 25 up to around the 27. Nice return by Damon Megerly. Derek McQuiston making the tackle, the sophomore out of Logansport. Backup linebacker here for Wabash.
And I just remember one of the things that both of these coaches said to us the other day, and Robbie Long of DePauw and Rayburn of Wabash, that no matter what the score has been this year or any other year that they've been coaching, these guys don't quit. I mean, you see how they get, well, let's get out of here. We're beat. You watch. These guys who do not quit.
Stack it with 4 receivers to the right, and he overshoots 5'5" Armani Cato. There's a flag on the play as King is leveled.
Is he leveled? You talk about getting hammered. First of all, he waited way too long to throw this ball.
Foul against Wabash for roughing the passer.
He waits way too long to throw this ball. I don't know what he was thinking. Now watch how long it takes him to throw the ball. He sits, he sits, he sits. It's a passage you just got to throw back to the outside. That was Burge, number 39, that hit him. Just hit him in the chest. It's an unprotected player, and that's why you get called for that. He got hit in the chest. They've twisted his knee, and the young man stood there. I just don't understand why he waited so long to make this throw. You had 4 receivers to the right-hand side. 3 guys in front of the one that he threw the ball to they were blocking, and it was just a bad throw.
Max Gunther comes in. Remember, there were 3 quarterbacks with concussions injured this year. King became the 4th quarterback, who's making his 2nd start today. Now he goes back out. Gunther comes back in. They've used 5 quarterbacks this season. He pitches it back to Cato, shakes a couple of tackles, makes a nice play to get it up to the 45. And Denzel Wilkins, who had an interception, returned back for a touchdown, in there to lead him and force him out of bounds as Will King comes back in with 13:18 to play.
This is King's last game, and it's only 2nd time he started in the school in 4 years. And I'll tell you, you got to give this guy a lot of credit and some toughness. That big guy is. I'm not going out of the game. It's going to be my last game that I'll ever play football.
King sets, throws, completed to DJ Stewart, picking up the 1st down in front of Hodges.
Now that was a throw that was thrown on time, and he got it out of his hand in a hurry. That was just a very good throw. Now watch this. DJ Stewart makes the cut. As soon as he does, the ball is there. That's perfect timing. Didn't wait.
14 catches on the season for the freshman out of St. Louis. They have high hopes for him in the coming years here. They pick up a first down to the 46. Again, stepping up, throwing this one short, intended for Stewart.
One thing that he has to, well, it's his last game. You say he has to learn. You don't have to learn anything anymore after this game.
He's got 12 and a half minutes.
That's all he's got. But you don't have to throw the ball that hard. You know, you just...
He might have looked at the old films from back in the 60s and a quarterback at the University of Miami. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Oh, man.
King throws. Stewart reaches, pulls it down in front of Hodges, and then is spun around out of bounds. Completed pass, but still needing more for the first down.
But see, that is a pass that it's a 5-yard pass, and it's a timing pass, and he gets it there right on time. You don't have to, I mean, I'm not being critical of him because the guy's never played. This is only his second game.
It's 3rd down and 6. King steps up and overshoots Stewart that time.
Boy, he knows he had Stewart. He just, this was all his fault. Stewart saying, hey, if I was 7'12", I wouldn't have been able to catch that anyway.
And of course, they'll go for it on 4th and 6 with the ball at the 42 of Wabash, and 11:56 to go in this 118th Monon Bell. Blown open early by Wabash, taking advantage of DePauw mistakes, and now a timeout. Well, we'll see if they go for it. I think they should go for it. Why not? We'll find out when we come back.
They will.
Quarterback, one protector back. Knott's going to let it fly. Here it goes. It is in the air, and it is caught. Oh, my goodness. What
Everything that you thought wouldn't happen. What an unbelievable end to the football game. What an unbelievable end.
The senior Kurt Casper was quiet the entire day. Catches the deflection from Ryan Short.
Unbelievable.
Kurt Casper, the second leading receiver all time for the Little Giants, had been shut down all day long, and he catches the deflected pass for the game winner.
Unbelievable.
That was an unbelievable finish. Much like the Jordan Haverkamp field goal of 47 yards right on this field a few years ago. But not today.
I know.
Today the drama is this. Will they complete their first 4th down conversion? They're 0 for 1 on 4th and 6 for DePauw at the 42 of Wabash. King, nice protection. Now he's going to have to move. He throws. It's complete. He hits Stewart, but Stewart is being wrangled there by Hodges and will not be able to pick up the first down. This Austin Hodges is tough, isn't he?
Yeah, you know, they're the brothers, Austin Hodges and his little brother, Houston Hodges. They're both, the freshman is 5'7", 163, and the junior is 5'8", 170.
And Houston, who, by the way, will be a point guard for the basketball team this season.
Say what?
Houston and Houston and Austin, and they have a dog named Dallas. Family, obviously, a big tech. No, can't make that up. They're big fans of the state of Texas, even though they all grew up in Plymouth, Indiana. On downs, it is turned over to Wabash, and Tyler Holmes will get the carry. On first down, he picks up a couple before Brandstatter, and Brandstatter closing out a very solid career here at DePauw with an outstanding game today. Ben Brandstatter has really played a terrific game.
Well, and when the coach Long told us, he said this, we said, you know, wait a minute, Brandstatter's the safety. and he's 5'10", 190 pounds, and he's the leading tackler on your team. He said, well, our defense is designed for him to make the tackles. Well, obviously he likes it. He's got 8 of them so far today.
Second and 7 coming up at the 40. Clock winding down. The bell has been ringing for about 7 hours over there on the Wabash sideline, and will continue to ring out through the night on the drive back from Greencastle, just north of here to Crawfordsville. On the carry is Derek Rowe. Rowe, the junior out of Logansport, Indiana. And Fultz and Brandstatter in there to make the tackle. Let's check in with Matt.
Thanks, guys. I was talking to our sports information director, Brent Harris, down here. Asked him when the last time was that Wabash scored 4 non-offensive touchdowns. His response, he simply shook his head and laughed, so I guess it hasn't happened in a while. This offense, however, hasn't been playing nearly to the level that the defense has. Only 10 points for the offense today, only 5 first downs, 6 first downs counting that last one, I guess. I was over here after the last 3 and out that the offense had. Guys were not happy. They understand that they have games after this, and they have a lot more to play for, and that they need to step it up. Back to you guys.
And, of course, Matt Hudson, former star quarterback at Wabash, when he talks about our sports information director. Brent Harris, one of the great sports information directors, and Bill Wagner here at DePauw, who's just been outstanding. It's just always a pleasure to get their game notes and their research.
You know, they are as professional as anyone I've ever been associated with, and I've done a lot of years of pro football and major college football. These guys, I mean, there is nothing that we don't know about when we go into this ballgame. They really have done their job.
I remember the first time I did this game in 2003 and met Nick Morosis, the legendary coach here at DePauw. This on second down, and nowhere to go that time by Derek Rowe as Dwanger gets in there to make the tackle. And Coach Morosis was telling me then, you know, when I tell you something, just kind of keep it to yourself at the meetings, okay? I mean, I don't know, will there be any Wabash people in there at the meetings? Then I realized what a rivalry this was. Probably why we got a player from each team, but, you know, former player on the sidelines here. A lot of we's and us's all the time around here with you're either Wabash or you're DePauw.
Well, it is funny because they basically, after this game, they really don't shake hands. Just, you can see you.
Yeah.
I'll see you next year.
Wabash 2 for 11 today on third downs. And they're going to take a timeout. So will we. 38-7. Little Giants on their way to an undefeated regular season. Coors in motion to the right. Dick to pass. Out to Coors. He leans forward and makes it. Alex Coors converts the 2 points. We're tied at 21. 3:37 to go. 4th and 5. Huge play for the sophomore. Pressure is put on. Hit as he throws, and it is intercepted. Intercepted by Javon Pruitt, his 6th pick of the year. 2 seconds to go. Monon Bell game on the line. The kick is long. It's got distance. It's good. It's good. Haverkamp has won the Monon Bell with a 47-yard field goal.
With room to spare.
A classic game indeed. Jordan Haverkamp with the kick, and Spud Dick leading his team to victory there. The DePauw Tigers, as you see, Wabash. They didn't go co-ed during the commercial break, did they? It's still all men.
Yeah, it is.
Because I could swear there was a girl ringing the bell over there. It throws me when they throw this stuff at me without telling us, Paul. 3rd and 14. Back to pass. Burke unloading down the sideline and way out in front of his intended receiver, Brady Young. Good pressure by the front 4. And that was Michael Fultz. Fultz, who leads the team in tackle for loss this season. And talked about it. You're talking about that intensity as he talked about yesterday. You mentioned it, Paul. He's not sure if he's going to shake anybody's hand or not.
I don't think he is, to be honest with you.
I don't think so after today. Sobleski will kick it. Wagner has it. Nice cut back by Wagner, looking for room up across the 25. And Wagner gets it close to the 30. He's been banged up a little bit coming into this. He was 4th in the nation in kickoff return yard average. And, of course, he's returned a kickoff and a punt this year for a touchdown. That was a nice return.
It really was. Wagner, right there, you can't think that, there's anything wrong with him. But he just, these guys move so quickly. They're not big guys. They're little guys. He's 5'8", 172. And I'm not lying about these heights and weights,
I know. 23-yard return. And DePauw will begin this drive with 8:15 to go. 1st and 10 at their own 29. King sets, throws incomplete, intended for Nico Sanson.
I think one of the problems that Will King has when he's throwing, and that comes with not playing, when a play is called, he knows where the primary receiver is. And he's having a problem going back into the secondary and tertiary receiver. Like that?
I got that. That was good.
I got that. But I think that's what his problem is. And, as the primary receiver isn't open.
King sets, flips it over the middle. Hickam across the 40. 1st down, DePauw. As Jordan Hickam, the sophomore from right here in Greencastle, Indiana, makes it. And they're hurrying it up.
Watch, he sees the primary receiver right now. Look at the ball's out. See, that's a good play. And excuse me, Kenny, and he just came back with the same thing. He went right back to the other side to DJ Stewart because that was the primary target. He can get the ball there quick enough if he knows if that's the first receiver he's going to throw the ball to. But if he has to look around at all, then he really is slow.
2nd and 5. They had a quick snap on that last one, Paul. They look pretty good in that. You wonder if we could have gone way back and done it all again, would they? Everybody come out with this kind of offense. Play action, he stumbles but keeps his balance, firing back against the grain and overthrowing Bobby Colburn.
It's Thomas Ballard, a backup linebacker that was covering on Colburn, but that was really a good play. It was kind of a rollout screen back to the left-hand side, and what happened was, the funny part about the whole screen is that Colburn got downfield, and he was behind on the other side of the line of scrimmage, or the other side of the line.
Yeah.
And you got to wait for you got to kind of wait for your line to get there to help you block somebody.
It's 3rd and 5 at the 46. King firing it, and that was a nice catch by Cato as it almost ripped his arm out of socket, but he holds on to it. That was a hard-earned 4 yards there, wasn't it?
Oh, well, that was another. They were trying another screen.
They hurried up. This is 4th down, 4th and 4. King throwing and underthrowing, incomplete. And so on downs, Wabash will take it over once again with 7:08 to go in a 38-7 game.
When you're in a hurry-up offense and you have a new quarterback, his primary target, he's going to throw the ball to right away, and that's what he did in the double coverage. But had he looked back on this other side of the field to the right, taking the time, Ganser, number 86, was running down the sidelines, and nobody covered him.
Andy Walsh is in at quarterback for the first time, a 6'4" sophomore from Clinton, Indiana. Number 11, Walsh, the 3rd quarterback of the day for Wabash. Chase Belton, we understand, is okay. They're just going to let him kind of rest up now for the playoffs to start next week. We saw Tyler Burke for a couple of series, and now we're seeing Walsh.
Yeah, and now you're seeing Feltz. Watch this. The defense, bam! These guys.
And Fultz comes over for a little good measure.
Fultz is, woo.
Don't talk to him after the game.
No.
Don't look him in the eye
after the game. I'm telling you right now. There's no nonsense with that guy.
2nd and 9. Walsh hands off up the middle.
he's kneeing one of the offensive linemen in the side of the head. He almost made the tackle on that last play with one arm.
We look at Graham Wilkerson. He's had a solid career, the senior from Indianapolis. A couple of big plays in this game, including a sack. Walsh steps up throwing, incomplete. He was going for Jeff Wright, the intended receiver. Myron Burr there with him.
You know, when you have teams around the country, they're jumping divisions and going places. Here's a ball that was just thrown poorly. But anyway, you've got to, when you look at this rivalry here, you got to preserve the rivalries, Kenny. You do. You have to. It was something that when I came here for the first time last year, you sit down, you talk to these guys. I mean, it's just all about, the entire season is all about this one game.
And another dandy punt by Sobleski. Gets this one down inside the 10-yard line. Cameron Sobleski has made a couple of big plays. That was a 35-yard kick. But to me, much more valuable than if it goes in the end zone, he gets 8 more yards credit, but it still comes after the 20.
I don't know if there's a punter in the nation or anywhere that doesn't want to drop the ball inside the 10 and let it stay there. It really has. Is it average when you see some of the kickers? You know, they say, well, the guy's got a 41-yard average. He's got a 48-yard average. Yeah, but he kicks the ball in the end zone all the time. You're not helping your football team.
DePauw starts 1st and 10 at their own 8. King steps up throwing, and it's intercepted. 3rd interception of the day picked up by Wabash. And the Little Giants will have great field position with this one. Reaching out to pull it in is Drew Walls.
You know, and the problem with this pass is that they're reading the quarterback's eyes, and they're watching the quarterback, King, pick out his #1 receiver, stay with him, and then throw the ball to him. That was just a break on the ball by a safety, and wasn't even in at the beginning wasn't in a position to make a play.
Drew Walls, a 5'8" sophomore out of Lexington, Kentucky, just coming into the lineup and comes up with an interception. On the ground, inside the 5-yard line. They will continue to bang it out. And this is Troy Myers. We've seen Myers on special teams. Now we see him carry for 13 yards and get it inside the 5.
Tell you what's happening to Wabash is they're just playing a whole lot of guys now. These are guys that you just wonder, were they ever on the roster?
That's what we're wondering sometimes. Is Myers a 206-pound junior out of Greenfield, Indiana, carrying that last time? You're looking at Andy Walsh right here on a goal situation. Handoff, they'll stay on the ground. Once again, Myers, not much there this time.
And
2nd and goal with 4 minutes to go.
And not apologizing, folks, but one of the reasons we're a little hesitant about names and numbers because some of these guys aren't on here.
We're about in the 4th or 5th of the depth chart here right now. Myers stays in the backfield. Walsh keeping, Walsh taking it in. Andy Walsh, 3rd quarterback used today by Wabash. On the keeper, gets the touchdown. The 6'4" sophomore from Clinton, Indiana.
Well, they run this play, I would say, about 15 times today with all 3 quarterbacks. And it's just, they ride the fullback or the halfback back up into the hole. Excuse me, they wouldn't have a fullback. They don't have a fullback on this team. But they run the halfback up into the hole, and it's up to the quarterback. Do I take the ball out or I just let him have it?
McDougal kicks it through. 3 plays, 17 yards, taking up a minute 25. All this starting after the Drew Walls interception for Wabash.
Here it is again. You see Walsh, he just fakes it to, excuse me, to the halfback. And when he runs up into the hole, there really is no one there to stop him. This play worked all day. I'm sorry.
No.
It's worked all day for Wabash.
You know, even with that, that's her second running score today. It goes back, in case you just happen to flip back in from earlier on the day, or you're just tuning in to see how does this storied rivalry that's usually a fourth quarter deciding game, how does it work? Well, it's been all turnovers and a great punt return by Chamblee. And then turnover, turnover, turnover. 2 of them have been taken in for touchdowns. Recovered fumble for a touchdown in the end zone, and that's been the game.
And DePauw being a young football team and losing as many players as they have from last year. 31 players graduated, 27 were on the 2-deep roster. You know, 17 were starters on offense and defense. It's really hard to overcome any kind of a mistake. But when you give up the ball for touchdowns, you just can't make it up. You don't have enough time, and you don't have the firepower to do it.
Damon Meggerly, sophomore from Columbus, Indiana, making a nice return there. And Paul, again, it goes back. They switched conferences. They'll be in the North Coast Athletic Conference next year. But when they left the Southern Athletic Conference this year, some of the teams in the conference said, we don't want to play you anymore because, you know, we're ending the home-and-home series. We'll see what the penalty is.
9-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
Penalty at the end of the run. So what it came down to is, as Coach Long was telling us, in the spring they were scrambling to try to get some games. So you come in with a young team that has to play on the road all year.
Yeah, they played 6 games on the road.
This is only their 3rd home game of the season, and then it's their last game. As Max Gunther comes back in the lineup, the sophomore from Floyd Knobs, Indiana. He's going to start with the young team, and you're going to play on the road to get everything started. But they've been playing well lately coming in as Gunther tucks this one in, takes off running. Thomas Ballard is there to meet him.
Yeah, they lost 4 out of their first 5 games, and then the last 3 games coming into this game here, they won 3 in a row. And you know, when we talked to the coach Robbie Long and asked him about it, he said, you know, they just really got tired of being beaten, and he got tired of people saying, you know, you're not very good. And all of a sudden they really had their backs to the wall, and they played well the last 3 weeks.
Gunther steps up, throws it. It is incomplete.
And he just, again, it's so true when you're any team. But when you're as young as this team is, and they have not played together that long, you cannot make mistakes.
Pass intended for Mike Harris. Anthony Buell doing a nice job breaking it up. Makes it 3rd and 5 at the 48. Gunther steps up, brought down. Not much on that. Grady Phillips in there to make the tackle. You know, a streak is going to be broken today for DePauw. They have not been under 500 in the last 15 seasons. They've had 15 straight years of 500 or better football, but they'll go to 4 and 5 after this.
And again, they only played 9 games this year, and Wabash is already, this is their 10th game, and they will be 10-0.
And a terrific job by Eric Rayburn. You know, he's one of those guys you almost don't want to take it for granted that Wabash is always going to be in the playoffs, but they have just about under Rayburn. And he takes them right back again this year. They'll go in ranked at least 9th, perhaps moving up after this to go 10-0. And naturally, they're hoping that they will get a home game. That's one thing. There's not the guaranteed seeding that you see like in the 1AA or what used to be the 1AA. A lot of it depends on the regional, and because there's so many good teams in the Midwest, they try to keep them close to home. So you know, Coach Rayburn was telling us it's no guarantee we'll be in the top 8 or 9 seeds either. Although you would think so.
Well, you know, and for people that don't watch Division III football, it absolutely is a shock to me too. But there are 32 teams that get in.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Final Four. My God, you know. And then in order to win the championship, you have to win 5 games. If you win, you play. You can play as many as 5. I mean, and they've already played a 10-game season. I mean, that's a lot of football, man.
Walsh stays in at quarterback. He had a touchdown the last time he touched it. He picks up some nice yards this time. You know, Walsh is a talented guy. He's a sophomore. He's 3rd-string quarterback, but will probably move up as the backup next year for Belton with Tyler Burke graduating this year.
Well, you know, and it's the same play they've been running all day. This is their bread and butter play. They just belly to the halfback, and if he's not open, you let him take it. If he's not open, he's going to get hit. You sacrifice him, and you just pull the ball and get outside.
And now it is the victory formation. They'll let this one tick down. Eric Rayburn and his Wabash Little Giants going to 10-0. Top 10 in the country and going on to the Division III playoffs next week. And for Robbie Long, it was an incredible season to play 6 games on the road with 31 players gone from a year ago. He came in here on a 3-game winning streak to be at 4-4. Really impressive turnaround for a DePauw team with so many graduated players last year and some injuries this year.
And again, with you, congratulations to Wabash. But I'll tell you something right now. Will King, I thought, did an outstanding job. You know, they didn't win, and he threw some bad passes. He did throw some bad passes. But this guy has been here for 4 years, patient, was a 4th-string quarterback. He never missed a practice. He was there all the time. He never complained to anybody about anything. And when it was time for him to play, the guy stepped up. And I'm going to tell you something, a lot of credit has to go to him and also to Coach Rayburn from Wabash. This guy has got it together with this football team.
Another impressive win. This is 2 straight blowouts in the Monon Bell for the Wabash team. Winning today 45-7, and Eric Rayburn as head coach going 3-1 in Monon Bell games. This was a game that was decided early on with turnovers. And a big play by Wes Chamblee returning a punt for a touchdown. Special teams and defense doing it mostly today for the Little Giants, Paul.
Yeah, and you know, again, you can't. Again, if you're that young, you can't have turnovers because you're never going to be able to make it back up again. But there's something going on in this field that's really kind of neat. They line up and they shake hands all the way through. It's almost like that when you see at the end of a hockey game.
There is great respect. They laughed a little bit yesterday. We're not shaking anybody's hands, but you can see the sportsmanship and the appreciation for this great tradition. Let's go to Matt.
Thanks, Kenny. Coach Rayburn, first off, congratulations. You know, 3 years ago, we experienced about the lowest of lows up at Wabash in your first Bell game. This year, 3 years later, 3 Bell wins later, undefeated season, conference championship. Describe your emotions right now.
Oh, it feels good. I'm real proud of how our guys played all season long. In particular today, thought our defense was outstanding.
Coach, what do you think about how CJ played today?
He played great. He plays great every week. I think he's the best defensive player in the conference for sure, and I think he showed it today.
Well, Coach, 10-0, undefeated season, obviously. How long do you celebrate this one for before you start thinking about the playoffs?
Well, we're gonna celebrate it for a while. Then got the 24-hour rule, so 24 hours, and we'll start worrying about the next one.
All right, congratulations, Coach.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Matt Hudson and Brad Wochomurka working the sidelines for DePauw. Glad to have those former players working with us again. Paul Maguire, it was a fun game. It was interesting, at least. You know, it got over early, but we had fun.
Well, we get here on Thursday, and the game is now, and it's over, and I really enjoyed it, Kenny. And I tell you what, working with you and Daryl and Hank, it's just been a pleasure. I'm looking forward to it all year long.
Number 41, we look forward to number 42 in the booth.
I'll take a shot at it. Thanks.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you for being with us. The battle for the Monon Bell, it goes to the 9th-ranked Wabash Little Giants as they go to 10-0 on their way to the Division III playoffs. You've been watching the battle for the bell. The executive producer of HDNet Sports is Daryl Ewalt. Our director, Hank Lena. Technical director, Jason Vaughn. Production manager, Chris Markwell. HDNet Engineering, Dan Neighbors and Lonnie Thomas. Special thanks to the great staffs from Wabash and DePauw and all of our great crew here. And for the great Paul Maguire, always a pleasure. I'm Kenny Rice. Thank you for being with us. And in Greencastle, Indiana today, the bell rings loud and clear for Wabash. The Little Giants win it 45-7 over DePauw to stay unbeaten. Thank you for being with us. We'll see you next year when the bell rings again on this classic. Good night from Greencastle, Indiana.
You've been watching a special presentation of the 118th Battle for the Monon Bell on HDNet.